Denise. That's right.
Captain Nico is the head of 3D Concept Systems. He is actually he's the brainchild of a lot of different 3D printing things. The whole reason this project can move so fast is because we got introduced to Nico, who's been developing and working on boards and printers for like almost a decade now. This is his main focus in life, basically. The same way we love making supports, he loves making printers.
Give me just a second here.
We
Sure.
are live now.
I can mute myself to everybody else. I think
Hello,
my
Brian.
brother's downloading stuff right now, and I think I'm just. We've been live for a minute, and I've dropped 100 frames.
Oh Lord.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So
It'd be a good download.
It's upload. So I'm uploading at like 5,000 to 6,000 kilobits per second, but OBS is yelling at me that I'm dropping frames. We should be okay, but yep, it's instantly better. When Jonathan's not loading the
It's
network.
amazing how that works, isn't it?
Huh?
I said it's amazing how that works. Someone downloading just totally messes up the network.
Yep.
Who knows? Yeah.
All right.
I
I
apologize
think we're
if
live
there
now.
is any choppy video, guys. For some reason, we've been having this issue. It looks like we're pretty stable, but I am dropping somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 kilobits per second, so we should be reasonably okay.
As I guess, just don't move around too much.
Oh, I'm wired in, so... Oh, no, we're dropping frames again. What the hell is going on? Yeah, I'm dropping frames. Let me... Let me kill OBS. I'm gonna redo this stream. Give me just a second. Give me just a second. Oh, and someone just turned off their camera. That's gonna be a pain.
I think Will might have done that just for a second. Do you need to keep them open?
Yeah, well, no, it reorients people. I should be able to do that on my side.
Oh, yeah, he's back.
He is back, but I now have to... I'll just change the names. Let's just
Sorry
change
about
the
that.
names. You're good, man.
I was afraid it was me, so I switched to my cell network. I have absolutely unrapaciously bad internet.
Oh, no,
Because
no,
I'm
no.
out in
It's
the rural
absolutely me. Something...
Okay.
We've had an issue with packet drop recently, but I will deal with it another day. It looks like we're a little bit more stable now. I don't know. Maybe we just have to let the internet warm up. I don't know. If,
Like your mom said, just turn it off for a minute. Give it a break.
yeah, you know. I'm not nice to the internet here. I'm not supposed to be nice. But yeah, anyways, we're live. So, you know, this is how it goes sometimes. We've got John and Will here from Atlas 3D. And, of course, we have Justin. Sorry, Justin, it's not cool to have you anymore.
Yeah.
But,
I get it.
Everybody, let's go ahead and introduce yourselves. We'll start with John, since you are directly next to me. So tell us who you are, where you're from, and all the good stuff.
It's cool. It's
it
Josh,
Josh?
but no,
Shit.
hey man, there's too many people with J names. It's cool. Yeah,
I had
Josh.
it wrong on my screen.
I sent you a quiet message. I was like, it's Josh.
Shit,
Yeah,
sorry.
it's cool, man. I'm Josh. I'm the head of product and marketing at Atlas. I've been in 3D printing since about 2017, tinkering around with my FDM machines, and now been in resin for a while. Yeah, just really excited to chat with you guys here today.
Awesome. Will?
I'm Will. Everybody knows me as Monkey. I've been doing supports now for a year in resin. I'm that crazy guy who, along with Janico and Hades, we do the crazy supports over at Atlas. So if you have something that's absolutely insane and gets supported, chances are it's one of the three of us.
I bet that we've worked with you guys in the past. Like, I've printed your work and had no idea, which is really cool. I am so we start these a little bit early so we all can get to know each other, and man, this is going to be a fun episode. Justin, people know you a little bit, but, you know, for the new folks watching.
What's up? I'm Justin. I'm a high school student and work with 3D Musketeers doing everything from setting up our time-lapse Raspberry Pi to editing them and CAD and anything in between.
You,
Wicked, man.
you are our resident chameleon. And apparently I am told that I need to flip my video. Every now
Yeah,
and then
you
I'm
do.
told that I need to flip my video. There. Is that better for everybody? Am I better now? The stunt double cat's in the right side of things. For those that don't know me, my name's Grant. I am the owner of 3D Musketeers. We're a product development firm, so we help you get your ideas out of your head and into your hands with full art-to-part rapid prototyping and product development. That is now likely not going to be doing support on resin 3D printing anymore.
That's what we do, baby.
Hey man, if I could offload that to some really awesome people, I am totally down to do that. And you guys are my kind of people.
Hey, man, another day, another business development. That's what I say.
Amen to that. Hey, it's a Saturday, so why not try to make some money, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Yeah.
Cash.
You know, pour a drink if you're not 17 on the call.
Every day is Monday, so you should always be making deals, man. Every day is
Yeah.
Monday.
That's
Oh
right.
my God.
ABS always, or ABC always be closing, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. This is the man I work with who's like, yeah, every day's a Monday. Yeah, cheers.
It is though, dude. I roll out of bed and I start chatting with you or Jane or somebody. It is every day is Monday for me.
Dude,
I know.
it's so true.
I agree.
It's so freaking true. So I got a question from the Peanut Gallery, which is my brother on YouTube. Is that a KEF speaker in your background or a KEF speaker in your background in the windowsill there?
Oh yeah, I've got the Kirk behind me. That's a well spotted. Like the KRK, or like
Oh, it's a KRK rocket. Okay, it's a
Yeah,
KRK rocket. All right.
as we affectionately call it, the Kirk. Yeah, absolutely.
Is it Captain
Well
Kirk
spotted.
though?
Do you know what? It's not the captain. It's more like the lieutenant. The captain's the big fuck off 12-inch one that my friend has and that I broke.
I am
Yeah,
the captain now.
No, it's good stuff, man. Well spotted.
Yeah, well, we're audio geeks, you know. We all have the nice mics and the good headsets, you know. Rocket Sennheiser, not because they pay us, because they should, they don't, but because it's damn good sound. And
Well, they're owned by a medical company now.
yeah, shut up, Justin. All right.
Really?
Yes, they are, and it upsets me so much. Captain Nico said I thought I was the captain. I think he's right. That's fair. Yeah, you win. Yeah, you win.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Nico?
Yeah, Nico's hanging out in the YouTube live chat. So if you guys want to go over there and monitor the chat too, you can. It's up to you.
That's super
Oh, I have
cool.
you guys on my phone. I can't actually.
That's
gonna
fair,
say,
yeah.
I'm normally not away from my phone or my computer,
Yeah.
and I can't type. I can't do anything. I can just look at the camera.
Is your phone plugged in right now?
Yes.
Good. Because you're gonna want that.
Charged.
Oh
You're
yeah.
gonna
No, I
want
have
that.
learned this. I've had video calls with Josh where we're going and everything's great, and then all of a sudden the phone dies. It's like, oh no.
For me,
Yeah, right.
I have to cool the phone because the case keeps too much heat in the damn phone, and it'll freaking overheat on me. And the first thing on the Google Pixel 3a XL that goes out is your
Camera.
cellular and Wi-Fi connection.
Can we make an
right.
active cooled phone now?
Yeah,
I
I think
just
it's
use
time
a
for
little
water
USB
cooling.
powered fan behind the phone to keep it cool.
See,
It
Justin, I
works.
have to ask though, what camera do you have? Like, you know, you're talking about you're being an audiophile. I'm a videophile. You are rocking a really awesome camera because, like,
Yes.
every time it clicks to you, it's like I'm watching Hollywood 4K.
Yeah, it's
like,
so true, man.
Hey, be
The
careful, he's
lighting.
underage, all right?
This is just a Canon T2i, but with a 50mm f1.8 lens, so I get the really blurry
the
background.
lens.
I did have a light that I 3D printed, but one of the wires popped out of it, and I haven't resoldered it.
This is why we can't have nice things, Justin.
Yes. Well, I think it melted itself off because the LEDs got really hot, but
Yes.
besides the point.
The RGB betrayed you.
But it's like, I'm almost positive this is only outputting, because I do it over USB. I think it's only getting like 720p at best.
Yeah, your resolution's not that high, but you get that nice bokeh.
Yeah, and it looks much better than a webcam with the little tiny pinhole sensor. It's
Yep.
Yeah,
I use
no.
a
Lens.
Vixia, Canon Vixia HFR 800 camcorder, so Yeah, I can do the dumb things like zooming into God knows what for whatever stupid reason I want.
Oh god!
Oh my
And it's
God.
optical and not digital zoom.
As good as my camera gets, just has a slide that just makes people fuck off. That's
I mean,
that's
I
as
can
good
do
as
that
it gets.
too, but then it's gonna warn me that my lens cap is covered.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I need a better webcam. You guys are making me feel insecure right here.
If you have an older Canon camera, like Rebel T2 and or
Justin,
higher,
no
you're
one
giving
just
me one?
has random DSLRs sitting around they're not using. They don't live in LA.
I have one for us. I have a D3. Can I use
Yeah.
that to do streaming?
Probably.
It
I didn't think I
depends.
could.
It depends. Like, so the Canon allowed for USB, like due to COVID and stuff. They implemented webcam mode pretty much, and it outputs it through the USB
Yep.
because no
Okay.
one could get webcams.
Yeah.
But if your camera can support clean HDMI, and there's like different firmwares that could support it if it doesn't support it stock, like Magic Lantern I think is one if
Yep.
it's a Canon.
Yep.
And then you get one of the little $10 HDMI to USB dongles, and
That's what I use.
you're out
Yeah,
to the
quite-
races.
Have you guys ever done the like time lapsing of resin prints? You know that the
No.
resin lapse.
No, because hilariously, the time-lapse camera that we use, so that our time-lapse printer is directly behind me, I have a Sony Alpha 100. And for all of you that know cameras, that was made brand new in 2006. And I bought it brand new in 2006.
Mhm.
It takes compact flash. Not CFAS. Compact flash.
Like
That
flash.
runs at a
Oh my God.
blistering USB 1.1 maybe?
Oh my God.
But
Yeah,
it-
and
it-
you should see the cable we had to make for
oh
it.
yeah, the cable's really jank. It's held together with bodge wires, but it works. But it can't integrate with Resin Lapse.
Okay, because it needs the special cable on the side. I can't remember what the connection is, but
It's
we're
like, it looks like a headphone jack almost.
yeah,
3.5
the
mil, I
the
think.
video out. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got one on this, and this is a really old. This is like a D10 Canon. But yeah, sorry, quick plug because the Resin Lapse is awesome, and you can buy it with our resin at the moment as well.
Oh,
So,
can you?
I'm-
Okay.
you're gonna find moments where I'm just gonna plug this stuff in all the way, so
You are the
don't
market.
mind.
Hey man, we're all about shameless plugs. That's why this podcast episode was brought to you by 3D Musketeers. If you are looking to get your head out of your hands and into your hands of full art, part rap, prototyping, product development, you can reach us at 3D Musketeers. Links will be in the description down below. That's
10
right.
seconds out. 10 seconds.
CTA all day, day.
This is millennials. We know how to market things. We know how to market ourselves. We all understand that it's all broadcast all the time. It's all about
My Instagram account is called Building My Personal Brand. And I started it as a joke because I thought I was being kind of ironic. And then later on, I became really aware that I was doing that. It's real bad.
And wait, Captain Nico is telling me that the Athena open source board will support Resin Lapse on the board?
Yes,
Yes.
that is something that he has been working on, and not only that, the operating system will support it natively as well. So you should have a very clean experience.
That's
Oh shit.
awesome. So you don't have to deal with like it waiting for like the light flashes or anything. It'll be directly on the board.
Yeah,
like
all of-
how Octolapse would do it. More like
Exactly.
Also,
exactly.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Viper GTSR. Do you see your parts on the printer right there, buddy? He ordered some parts. He's a local guy. He's been a long time client, but he hangs out on our live streams. Yeah, your parts are on the printer right behind me. They're done. They finished last night. I just gotta
Nice.
break them off the printer, but yeah, it was funny. I figured he was gonna hang out, so I left the parts on there so he could see him on the machine. But yeah, that's cool. I definitely want to get into Resin Lapse. Actually, this Wednesday, assuming Elegoo doesn't drop another bit of just big steamy dump on ChituSystems again by calling them out on Twitter, Wednesday should be the Photon Mono X unboxing and review where I compare it directly to the Elegoo Saturn. Now, I didn't do any prints on them because I don't have that kind of time. But I compared them, physically next to each other, and I'm just sitting there saying, I really want a Resin Lapse so bad. Because our standing set with, 2 resin printers running at the same... Oh, it would look so damn cool. It would be so cool. And, they're not... It's just it's a photoresistor, as far as I can tell, that then triggers the camera. I don't think there's much to it, but it doesn't have to be all that crazy to be awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
and
more-
it
yeah, it's
does
more
make
about the
such
setup.
better media. far better media.
Oh, hell
And-
yes. Yeah.
Like everyone, it's really funny from my perspective in the 3D printing like tabletop community. Everyone who is printing is also like trying to get them likes and them shares by posting their great plastic or posting timeline. Like everybody who's involved is making media. So as the tools get better to make better media, I think that's actually going to accelerate the adoption of resin printing because more people posting awesome photos. I mean, that's why I bought a resin printer.
Hey, honestly,
I saw somebody posting these photos. I'm like, I need to get that.
You don't get better quality than resin prints under $100,000 as far as I'm concerned.
also, guys, I don't know if you realize TikTok for 3D printing is quite a thing. I was like really I hadn't paid any attention to it. And as the marketing guy, I was really put to shame when I went in and I found people with like hundreds of millions of views of having 3D printed things. And I spoke to a few people and I was like, oh man,
I'm
we
so
need
mad.
to get into this.
We do work with the U.S. government, and that means we can't use TikTok. Now, I'm trying to find a way around
Are you
this.
serious?
I don't. I've told you the reason.
Yeah,
why,
I know
Grant,
you've
but I
told
don't
me,
know.
and they're clearly doing something. I don't know what it is, and three-letter
I don't have
organizations.
TikToks, I don't know.
I don't want to have visits from three-letter organizations. They're just not the
They're
type of.
like, I mean, yeah, I won't fall down that rabbit hole, but there are lots of things that you can do with all of the social information that people put out on there in terms of just mapping behavior profiles.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I'm aware. Yeah, like I don't like Silk Rainbow. I would have never touched Silk Rainbow colored filament had it not been for our time lapses. And it's literally just here's the little baby version. It's you versus the guy she tells you not to worry about.
That's
And all it is, it's just that's all it does. The little one does the same damn thing. And this was Thursday's time lapse?
Oh, that's is that just like
That's
meant as like
awesome.
a fidget tool?
It's literally.
Yeah.
This is the handheld one. This is their
Oh,
regular
yeah.
size one, but at 200%.
do you make those? You can get like these little cube things that have like a
Yeah.
twitch, and some of those have
That's
like
basically
a little,
what this is,
like,
except
yeah,
it's fully 3D printed.
cute.
And
I like that.
It even uses a little thing for the spring, or when you pop out when the rod pops out. But
Yeah.
nonetheless,
That's a cool mechanism.
oh, it's an absolutely amazing mechanism. It blows my mind that someone said this is something we should 3D print, and then actually makes it viable on any style of 3D printer, right?
The reason I think he did it was because he's making a puzzle or something, and he wants a bunch of really satisfying clicks and whatnot.
Oh yeah,
for it,
it's like
is the reason he made it.
it's
Have you seen
really
that
satisfying.
guy? He's a magician. He does a lot of stuff on YouTube and Facebook, and he does these unboxings of puzzle boxes.
I know who you're talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know his channel, but I know who you're
Chris
talking
Ramsey.
about.
Chris Ramsey, yeah.
Yeah.
And he does all of these boxes, and some of these boxes are like, I kid you not, he had a box that was like 60 grand.
Yeah.
It's like they're really complicated, crazy designs, but someone 3D printed one of the boxes and started selling like a replica of the design that was 3D printed. Obviously, it was breaking some rules and got C&D'd, but it's something that's been in my head for a long time. Like, wow, it'd be really cool to create really complicated puzzle boxes or this sort of stuff that's 3D printed.
It
Maker's
would be.
Muse has a really cool video, and
Really?
he designed, and he has either the files are a couple bucks, or they're on. I think they might be on his Gumroad. I think is what they're on.
Ooh,
Oh,
Gumroad.
okay,
Fancy.
that's cool.
Yeah, so I'll find the link to the video, and it's pretty cool how he go like because you could do so much more with 3D printing and have print in place parts or like geometries
Especially
that you
with
wouldn't
resin.
get and
Absolutely.
geometries you wouldn't get any other way.
So
resin actually isn't so print in place physical parts in resin aren't always your best friend.
no,
FDM definitely. Resin,
but that's why if you can do it, it's pretty damn cool. That's
It
what
is,
that's
so
what I
the
should do as my test is design something that's like print in place with some weird support in it, give it to you guys to support.
See if there's like a way.
And
I think
I'm
the
just gonna
hard
get back a
thing-
picture of a middle finger as the file.
Yeah.
we did some stuff for Raging Heroes over Christmas
Uh-huh.
that it wasn't print in place, but when you put it together, it was an Astrolab, And if you use the right kinds of resin, no ABS-like resin, it had to be very, very brittle or very, very hard. The gears and the gearing system and everything work, and the Astrolab would actually spin. But if you try to do that print in place, there's just no way. There's some large models we've done print in place, and you can fuse the joints together. Or if you use like an ABS-like resin, you don't even have to fuse them. You just kind of slightly overexpose, and they'll fuse into place.
This one here, actually, like the light isn't great. I'll get a better light, but this couldn't print unless we did some trickery to make bits of it kind of work. See, I'll get a better light in a minute.
If someone gave that to me to print for them, I would tell them no.
Yeah,
I would just say no.
There's actually some really cool stuff that I was saying to Will the other day that really blows our mind, and it feeds back into the whole Chitu thing as well.
Right.
Like before, let's say, like, let's just roll back like 10, 11 months. In fact, maybe a little bit less than that, but we were all doing all of our work in Chitubox, and it took what it took. And there were some models that had extremely difficult problems to solve when all you could do was put sticks that went up and across. And Will will be able to tell you he managed to work out a number of awesome glitches inside of Chitubox that just flipped our heads on what was possible. And we were all in a space of about 3 or 4 months, and it was an incredible feeling to feel like, and I say we, the universal we, but it was mostly Will, right? But we were doing this stuff with feeling like, oh, we're actually pushing this industry forward. It's in the same way that, you know, someone was using Photoshop back in the day and maybe worked, oh, I do this overlay with this overlay, and then I can do this cool effect, and suddenly, you know. And so that was happening. And then Lychee came along, and we made this brave transition. And we all said to each other, well, looks like the tool set of Lychee is better, but oh, I don't like the way I've got to hold shift to move around, and like, you know, they'd just be like, oh god, those little itches of having to learn a new software.
Oh yeah, like we've been doing this whole like back to basics series where I go and I try slicers for the first time. I had never tried Lychee slicer before. I used Prusa slicer. I exported it as an STL file. I put it into Chitu, sliced it for the printer, threw it into, at the time was Photon File Validator, because I was running original Mars printers.
I love that.
now it's UV tools. Yeah. And then I would print it. And I saw Lychee slicer, I'm like, shit, I've been missing out. And like now I am really trying to learn it, because I'm putting together the pro versus free video. Yeah. Because I think that's a really good video, and like they were really cool.
Question for pro versus free. Yeah. If you're an American, do you buy 1 cup of coffee from Starbucks a month?
No.
Because if you do, then Lychee Pro is worth it. If you buy a soda a week from a gas station, you buy something. You buy some kind of $3 to $5 thing you don't actually need.
Don't at me for my filament purchases, okay?
Yes, the filament. It's the filament.
No, it's the filament and the cheap 3D printers that I find. So I'm like, oh, this would make a really cool review video. And all of a sudden, I now have an Ender 3, and I'm like, these are not as bad as I thought they were, and now I have a problem.
All of us buying really cheap 3D printers that were like less than $200.
I think sincerely, in the past 3 weeks, I've bought 15 kilos of filament.
Oh my god!
No problem.
Yeah.
I burned 16 kilos of resin in the last 3 days.
It's insane.
How many resin printers do you have?
Do you have a picture? Will?
Oh yeah. Let me move this to you.
Yeah. Take us to the farm.
I mean, like, it's not even insane, but those Saturns have such a good build.
There are 4 Saturns there that I'm seeing.
Yeah, this is what's currently running. I have 4 Saturns and 3 Mars 2s running, but then I have 2 Mars 2s upstairs that I've got to fix, 3 Sonic Mini 4Ks that I've got to fix, an E-Pax that's got to get fixed, a regular Sonic Mini that needs to get fixed. So I have like 11 or 12 printers, and if the whole farm is going, I can churn out a lot of plastic.
I can't imagine the smell Although I guess since you're making your own resin, you can control all that stuff.
Resin
so the
a little
smell
bit.
of broken isn't that bad. It's the cleaners. I got to do all the cleaning. I'm lucky. I'm in a hangar. I'm in an apartment above a hangar. So I do my cleaning in a 3,000 square foot hangar, and it's fine. I have a big 5-gallon bucket, and I just dip it.
He is actually Area 51, by the way. Yeah,
I mean, that does make sense. You got all these chemicals and, you know, all these weird models. Yeah, that's not surprising.
MK Ultra, man.
Yeah, no, straight up. When people did that whole rush at Area 51 a couple years back, it was a big old to-do here in town. We sold T-shirts and shit. People were like, the local pot shop, they made a big deal about it.
Cash it in. Area 51 weed. Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
They can't stop us all. Like, Area 51, raid them. They can't stop us all. I don't think... I don't think you're accurate.
Yeah, like they can. They have 50 cows.
They can and they will.
Absolutely stop you all.
It ain't the 50s, homie. It's the miniguns. Because miniguns go brrr.
So I was going to take you back to that thing. Yeah, so I was saying, sorry, about Chitubox. And at the time, so we were doing all this work and getting glitches. And then Lychee came along and we were a bit resistant to Lychee. And we were like, oh, you know, don't know whether we really want to do this. But then the reality is there are just some things that you just couldn't print without Lychee. Mm-hmm. And that's us not just because we really like their software and we know their development team stuff. I mean, quite honestly, there are things you can do with Lychee Slicer that just weren't possible with Chitu. And it's made a variety of things that we are now doing or doing experiments with, or like new models that we're creating, stuff that just couldn't happen before. and going back to like what we were saying about the whole Chitubox thing at the moment, that's what's so, I think, a bit weirdly stifling. Like if you say that you can only use this one software for 3D printing, what they're actually doing, excluding other market participants from buying a 3D printer. Like, let's say you're an architect or you do any other variety of technical skills that you could be 3D printing models with, but you can't support them in Chitubox. Technically, you go, oh, well, I can't do this now, can I? And I think that that's a really interesting and weird situation. Like, at the end of the day, Chitubox could sell more printers if more people could print more things. That's the truth. It's not Chitubox will sell more printers if more people use Chitubox.
It's Samsung. Samsung is the perfect analogy here. Samsung sells screens and RAM to everyone. Everybody, like for years, all of the smartphones, they all used Samsung AMOLED screens and Samsung RAM. And Samsung
worked. It worked and it was good.
Samsung didn't dupe everybody. Samsung's like, we're going to sell in our own stuff too, but we're going to have mostly fair rates. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Samsung, but I know they've engaged in their fair share of corporate fuckery too.
Who hasn't?
But they understand that, like, you don't create barriers to people using your shit. You let them use it, and then it makes your input costs cheaper. Like, because more people are buying the product.
No. Economies of scale means you make more money. It's capitalism. It's not means you can do it for less.
One is in Korea, one is in China. Maybe they just understand capitalism a little better in Korea. You know, I don't know.
Possibly.
Man, you know, at the end of the day, I believe that it's not always about price. It comes down to having a product that works. And the thing that's pissed me off most about Chitu is that, like, 1.9 does not work. It quite literally, when I was filming the video, wrecked. Well, I could not boot. It blue screened my computer, and I was unable to boot. I had to boot from a backup.
In August, September, and October of last year, this is the 3 months before we switched over to Lychee, the two most expensive costs that we had to incur were Chitubox crashes causing us to lose data, and teaching consumers. Like, you know, teaching consumers like how to resin 3D print, that's basically just a cost that we know we have to do because that's part of the job. But losing so much money every day to software that would just randomly crash.
You know, like, put two models on the plate and you swapped across to another one and tried to put a support on the other model, and it would just go, nope, it's all gone.
And top.
I do that so many
But-
times. I remember just getting,
Justin's talking about end topology, a software that if you have to ask how much it costs every year, you can't afford it. And that to me is like completely not okay on a paid software, especially one that expensive.
Yeah.
But it's not okay when it gets worse every single time.
Theirs gets better every time.
With
They-
end topology,
they
they
listen.
get better.
They listen. Like, it's really easy to get in contact with anyone pretty high up there if you use the software. And
Well, and one of our staff
Okay.
members happens to
And-
work full time for them now, so
this is end topology.
I can't tell you who it is on. I'll DM
Okay,
it to you. Who
tell
it
me
is.
later.
I can't
Yeah, okay.
tell his name on stream.
See, for us, like, okay, so we left Chitu at 1.6.3. That's
Oh,
when
wow.
we exited Chitu. And the thing is before that, nobody knew about cloning. It was a glitch I accidentally came across because I use a G13 macro board,
Nice.
and as a consequence of that,
Nice.
I use Control C and Control V and Control Z a lot as a macro. And in the old version of Chitu, if you were holding a support and you hit the undo button, it cloned it. It put it back, and
If
nobody
you didn't
knew
let
that.
go. Yeah.
That fundamentally altered how we did supports.
Huh.
When they went to 1.6.5, from my perspective, they fucked up the cloning glitch. And I was salting about it, and Lychee came to us and said, look at this, because we had tried Lychee 2, and it didn't really work for us. It was fine, but it just didn't do what we needed it to do, especially because at that point, I was able to clone in Chitu. And they came back and they showed us a new way to do cloning in their software, and we switched that day. Like, when a developer comes to you and A, speaks your language, like, and B,
Well,
says,
they're
"What can we
French and
do?"
Flemish, so I don't know if it was the right language, but it was a language.
No, they're Belgian too. Like, and
Yes,
the thing
Flemish.
is that
Yeah.
sorry. We tried for months to reach out to Chitubox. You can go back and look in September, October, and in the months before that in their Chitubox Facebook forums,
Uh-huh.
months trying to get their attention, saying, can you fix this? Can you do that? Like, guys, please help us help you. And we get nothing in response.
Yeah.
Lychee, before they even knew us, when we were just, two ships passing in the dark, they were almost instantaneous communication. They understood that, like, we need to be responsive to the community, not in terms of like months, but in terms of days. And they've been that way with us, especially, and with everybody. They're just so darn responsive.
And that's why we made the switch.
Yeah.
Literally, I had some issues in that first video. We actually ended up cutting them out because I went to their Discord and like instant.
Fixed it.
Instant.
Yeah.
And one of them was a fun little issue that no one had seen before, and they patched it. Like, overnight patched
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'm
We've seen
sorry.
it. We've
Like,
seen it happen.
Julian,
Mm.
it's Julian. He's their lead dev, and he's a freaking genius.
He's a wizard,
actually-
man.
Him and Nico have been working together for years. That's part of what, again, is like making the whole Athena thing possible. Is this tight series of relationships where Mango, Atlas, Concepts 3D, and PK Electronics, they're like 5 or 6 of us who are at these different companies, and we're actually fairly new to this group, but these other 3, they've been working together for years now. They know each other, they trust each other, they've been working on this project to bring an alternative to market for years. And for us, we feel really lucky to have met them. When we first met Lychee and
Dude,
really
same.
started working with them in January, I was like, I want a printer. Like, we want an Atlas printer, we want non-Chitu boards, we want to make this happen. And they were busy and we were busy, and we were trying to launch our resin. And off the success of this resin, we're like, we can really do this now. And then
Do it.
Chitu's like, we're gonna lock down the boards.
Yeah, it's like as soon as this thing, and you know what? Like, part
Yeah.
of me respects the hell out of Chitu for playing this long con, because like you can't hate the player, right? If companies didn't want this to happen, they should have made their own boards. But Chitu said, "Yeah, we'll give it to you for free," and they're like, Suckers.
Well, that's like any software. Like you get free student licenses, you get fluent in it. They want you to then. Well, once you're not a
stuck.
student anymore
Well,
and you're in that industry or whatever.
The difference is that
And-
they promised. I don't know if they promised.
Adobe Suite every month, please.
I get it for free from school.
Yeah,
For-
you're gonna hate when you graduate.
How do we keep you in school? How do we just perpetually make you a student to
Student
get that
loan
license
debt. That's how you do it.
forever? Yeah.
You make him so poor he can't afford basic life things. He just keeps taking loans.
Yeah.
I think that's
At least
how
he's
that
got
works.
Photoshop's magic little select button. That changed my life, man.
Yeah.
I think that Chitubox, I mean, there's nothing wrong with making money. They have made some serious
Agreed.
advancements in FPGAs and in board development. There's no getting around that. And they should be allowed to make money off of that. But that doesn't mean you stop third-party slicers. If you want to say, hey, you can't, Creality or some other manufacturer, you can't take our FPGA design and just go make boards. You got to pay a license for that. That would make sense. But saying, oh, hey, Cure or anybody who wants to use any kind of software on our boards, not making the boards, just using software, you have to pay us a license. That doesn't make any sense. Like Microsoft doesn't charge people to make software
Word documents.
Windows. You have to follow certain guidelines.
Right. Yep.
There's not like you must pay a Windows license fee in order to develop for Windows. You have to just jump through their hoops and then you're fine. This is not the same thing.
No.
Yeah.
This is them taking their ball and going home because all of the sudden a competition exists and they're not able to compete. So they're saying, hey, you know what? Everyone uses our boards. Screw you, everybody else. We're outie. Either use and pay for what we're doing or don't. We don't.
Yeah.
It's the Comcast South Park episode. We're so sorry. Because that's exactly what they're doing. They have every legal right to do this. There is no. It's anti-competitive. It's being a dick.
I think actually in Europe there is a certain amount of precedent that says that technically they're not allowed to do what they're doing. But
Will
the
they
way
be
that
held
all these
accountable? That's the question.
exactly the way that
and you
these
can't really
things
do
all-
anything.
Yeah, the
against
way these things
companies.
intermingle across international borders means ultimately you just get lots of frustrated and angry customers
Oh, yeah.
rather than necessarily some sort of legal thing.
And it leads to stuff like this. Because again, for us, like we've been talking about wanting to do boards and printers for a while. But when Chitubox made the unforced error of saying, we're going to encrypt, it made it very easy for us to say, you know what?
Gather these people
Yep.
up and say, hey guys, should we just give this a shot?
That's what we wanted to do, and then I found out about you guys. I'm like, oh, somebody's been doing it already. Guess.
Well, I mean, it's important to note, like, this is always the case with open source. So much work gets done in the background and people don't see it. Concept 3D and PK Electronics, these two guys have been working in the background trying to get these alternatives off the ground,
Yep.
and nobody wanted to pay attention. And for us, we feel very lucky to have met them to try and raise them up and say, look at these guys who know what they're doing. They're making an alternative. They're trying to make it in a way that's going to be good for the industry, that's not going to create just another locked-in ecosystem. And that's why as soon as we met them, it was just like, cool, what can we do to help? How can we help bring this to market as quickly as possible? And for us, the safest, most open way to do that was to is to try and found a nonprofit organization in the same way as in other technology sectors there are
And you did
open
that.
source nonprofits. Yeah, we're in the process of that right now. That's what we are. We just released the draft bylaws because I am radical. I'm really radical about honest communication, open transparency, and doing things as a community. And there's not a whole lot of frameworks on how to do this in the new era.
No.
Discord did not exist a few years ago. COVID has drove all of us online. We're engaging in brand new ways.
I mean-
Our community relationships are actually tighter than ever before.
Yeah,
So how do we
unbelievable.
navigate that?
I've never met Grant in person. We met during COVID, and I
Wow.
got the job. We met because of
I'm trying
a
to see
maker
how
call.
many staff members that I've met in person.
No Atlas members are in the same state.
No.
None of us. We've never
Never.
met in person.
One. Other
One.
than my brother, Brad is the only other. No, two, because Brad and David. That's it. Justin, I'm in Tampa, Florida. Justin's in LA. Our lead engineer lives in Oregon. I'm in Florida.
I think this is so inspiring, though.
Awesome.
It really, while many other businesses were shrinking during the pandemic, ours like blew up, and we weren't like the only ones. Obviously, yeah, there's lots of companies that have managed to do well, but in very specific sectors. Another bunch of people we keep bumping into on Discord. I don't know if you guys have seen but like the crypto industry and the DeFi community, they are huge on Discord.
It's crazy. Some of the servers. I mean, I'm in one that's banana NFTs that they were giving away for gas fees. There's over 10,000 people in that server.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's so. Do you know? It's like they talk about Discord as like the third place. If one is the Slack, where we were all in these little silos doing work with teams, and then the other one was like Facebook or Twitter or something, where we were all out there kind of being friends but kind of branding ourselves, and then gradually it became more and more of a like a sort of ad platform. Anyway, Discord is this weird middle realm where you can talk with people about work, or you can play a game, or you can be like sharing memes, you can be doing everything, and it all seems to fit seamlessly.
I mean, they're even doing it in the schools now too. My school's a Microsoft school, so we do all the teams and whatnot. But like when you go and open up Discord now, it asks if you want to input your school email, so your school can do
I didn't know that.
Server.
That's
I don't know if it's on all Discord. I'm on Canary, so it should be. It might have rolled out to me before.
Is that a separate client for Discord?
No, it's straight on the regular Discord. Discord Canary is their alpha build.
Yeah,
is why.
Justin's a bit of a masochist, so we just let it happen. We have a company
so
policy.
Much better though.
We don't kink shame people, even if they want to use Macs. We don't kink shame them.
I will tell you right now,
Windows
if you are
computer.
a Mac user in 3D printing, you are going to have a harder time. I'm sorry, it's not my fault. Don't get mad at me. I'll do my level best to help you. But if you're on a Mac, you will have more trouble because all of the tools are not made for you. I didn't make this decision. The market did. I'm sorry.
True. Just get parallels. You'll be fine.
I think it's up until now, the power of the Macs wasn't there.
The M1 is great though.
I think until now, but then now nothing's optimized for ARM yet.
My brother just put in the chat that our video editor, his name is Andrew, is the real masochist because he refuses to use dark mode. He only uses light mode. And that's true. That's true.
That's blasphemy. That's not masochism.
Honestly,
that's just blasphemy.
So there's laws regarding like where you can have someone committed to a mental institution. I think they should add that on there as one of the prerequisites.
Uses light mode exclusively.
Uses light mode exclusively.
Even at 3 a.m.
Love you, Andrew.
Oh my god. Oh mate, ever since I found dark mode for like Facebook or for Reddit or whatever, I find it and I just never turn it off.
It's great.
Like
yeah,
it's like, come on.
The iPhone has an option to turn it off. I'm like, why would I ever turn it off?
Why would I do this?
Yeah.
I live at night. So I wanted to ask, because while we're still on the boards and stuff, and I know that Nico's in chat, do you want to maybe like run through some of the features that on the board that you're planning, Nico? I kind of would love if you just could list them out in text.
Yeah, I really want to learn more about this board, and like, because that would make me want to get into resin, like, because of all the Chitu stuff. Like, I didn't want to deal with it. Like, even a year or two ago, like if I was gonna get resin right now, I'd probably want to go and spend the money on like something like a Form Labs. Like if I had,
I'm kicking your ass out of here. You do not say that word on our live stream.
Oh, sorry, the F word. The F word. So I don't get it. The F word.
We're gonna get a glass of water, guys. I'll be back in 1 second.
You're good. If you guys don't have water, you're gonna probably want it.
Even though it's a closed ecosystem, I feel like just they make it work compared to some of these ones that are out at the moment.
What are you, Apple? It just works.
Well, see, I would actually kind of push back on that because we have some people, there's a pilot that we've been doing for the last couple of months with a company, and I'm really sorry to be this way, that I can't talk about because we said we wouldn't say their name until the pilot was over. And the painting company that we were working with, because we were producing the models, supporting them, print testing them on our own print farms just to make sure everything would work, and then we would send them over to their farms. And they couldn't print them. They just could not print them. Like, it was constantly a problem. The prints were failing. So we just said, guys, can you we'll buy you a Saturn. And we bought them a Saturn. And don't you know, the print stopped failing.
Yeah.
Now, I don't dispute at all that the firmware software, you import something that doesn't have any supports on it, and it's auto support generation software, 70% lights. It does a pretty good job at not destroying the model. Yeah. And we've talked with some of our partners who do resin casting. So they actually use firmwares and like 3D Magic software to do entirely auto supported models. But that software either costs $12,000 a year, or it actually what it outputs is not consumer acceptable in today's market. It will give you a model that will print, but the consumer will not accept it at their level. Like, they want to be able to modify things, they want to be able to scale things, and firmware doesn't output modifiable support.
I agree with that, and I think with like Lychee and like, if you guys end up having a printer that comes out, or if there's a board that I could drop in to one of these printers that are out already, that's what you guys are developing. But I think that would be really like the best option, because if I want something, I want it to be completely open. If I'm gonna be getting something at this price range,
we don't want to,
or if I'm gonna be spending
we don't want to be MakerBot. I know that, Atlas does not want to be that. As the people who are kind of like the founding ethics.
$500 million acquisition though.
Yeah, they got acquired for a little over $430 million. I'm sorry, but you offer me $430 million, I will personally tell off every one of our customers.
And Bree got like most of that, but
trust me, if you ask Will that question, which I have asked him before, and again, we won't have to go into too much detail, but the ethics of why we are doing what we're doing. At the end of the day, life gets somewhat diminishing returns past a certain kind of amount of money that you can earn, and I think that you spend most of your time fucking working. So the idea that you could ever be in a position where someone wants to give you that much money, you probably think we're mad, but realistically, if I could live comfortably and still have the ability to create, innovate, and work with people in a way that I find fulfilling, I would probably do it right up to a point that might be a bit ridiculous to others. Now, let's be real. Easy to say this, but it is really something I believe in. As having done a variety of things for more money that I did not enjoy, I've certainly ingrained that in my head.
Amen to that, man. Friggin' amen. Can we get an amen for doing things you love and not making as much money because it's absolutely worth it?
It's okay.
It's okay.
I think it's more than okay. It is the only sustainable way. I am a hardcore capitalist. I fundamentally believe in the power of markets for distributed decision making and for pricing of goods and services. But I do think that we have had a fundamental misunderstanding in terms of like the importance of money. And it is actually the ability to create, the ability to express yourself in whatever medium you happen to want to do it, that is what gives people true happiness. And we think that money is what lets you have that creativity, but that's not actually the case past a certain point. And so, yeah, a company could come to us and say, you guys have a great brand and you've brought together all of these awesome people and we want to buy it. And the thing is that, A, because of how we're structured, we can't make that call. We're doing things in an open source manner in a variety of different partnerships so that every single person would have to sign on. And that kind of kludgy nightmare is not the kind of thing that money normally wants to try and buy because it's too much of a pain. And as long as everybody is open and honest and we're pushing forward, I really believe that'll work. I mean, and I think that I look at what Concepts 3D and PK Electronics have done off their own back, with no promise of anything other than they really are just passionate people who believe in this. I think that the future is organizations and groupings of communities and that empower people like that. Say, cool, we're going to invest in those guys and let them do their thing. Yes, I know.
Rick Sanchez coming onto the screen. You know,
I'm sorry, Will. I am literally teasing you. He knows I'm with him. I just until we get the portal to other dimensions, and I'll be honest, I might be up for playing some games then.
Just talk to Elon Musk. You know, if we need to get you over to the United States, Justin has a guy to get you shipped over here. It's fine.
Jerry has the guy to ship
some
the
way
humans.
happen to watch this, we want a 3D print on the moon, baby. Go ahead and let's get some Atlas printers.
We
You guys don't know what we're planning, do you?
I'm dead serious. I want to 3D print solar panels on the dark side of the moon. The amount of minerals that are there, dude, it's the future. So, yeah.
We know a guy.
We actually know a guy to do this.
Jim Green, NASA's chief scientist.
We want to 3D print on the moon, man. Like I'm telling you, I'm fucking crazy, I know, but solar panels on the moon, man. If you think about like the lift cost, what do we need in space in like at low Earth orbit? We need more solar panels, but the weight to get that shit off the ground way too high. What does the moon have a fuck ton of? Silica. What weighs a whole?
Look, just hold on to your GameStop. Hold on to your Dogecoin. We're going to the moon, boys. It's fine. Just hold.
Buy Atlas coin.
Buy Atlas coin. That's right.
Are you guys doing a crypto coin?
They are.
I'm not going to say you're not.
That's the attitude.
I mean, I was actually
ICO purchasing
doing weird shit with crypto right now. So we are officially not doing a crypto.
Ark in your Discord is saying, "Don't make Orwell wet his pants."
Yeah. Hey, you know, I was talking to Will about this last night. I was like, hey, we should talk about this, but we should do it in a way that's like, you know, there's an awful lot of ways that these things can fit together, and it's clearly becoming an incredibly valuable technology for humanity, but we're still in this lovely like upswing. We're almost out of the old trough of despair, and everyone's starting to come out now and realize what it's useful for. I don't know if you guys know, there's or if you guys follow in Europe, obviously we have loads of football or what you guys call soccer, and there was basically the greatest of all time, a guy called Lionel Messi was recently transferred from Barcelona to PSG, but part of his contract is to pay him in PSG coin, and this whole thing is part of a movement. If you move slightly away from cryptocurrency and you look at tokenized economies and essentially how communities can engage with each other with tokens that give them choices over decision, that give them value and give them like overall ownership of structures, that's the stuff that I think we're gonna what it's gonna do.
Something that, like, straight up, Josh and I have been banging our heads on this whole idea of tokens. It started in December at 3 in the fucking morning. He and I
That's
going
where all
back
the good
and
ideas
forth
start.
for hours over the math and how to make all of this work. And feeling like we're batshit crazy because we're talking about stuff that doesn't even exist yet. And now here we are. There's 21,000 tokens in circulation.
Yeah.
Like, people are using them to buy resin lapses, to buy tutorials, to buy models.
So you have a coin already?
Yeah. Well, what we have. Yeah, I'll let Will say.
Something might be listening, and they're changing the rules. We are not running a crypto yet. We just have a token.
Got it. Okay.
What we have essentially is a system of, if you like, coupons or value that people can trade for things, and that has quite a lot of flexibility into the other realm, but only when it's entirely appropriate and has everyone kind of value in mind, if you know what I mean.
What blockchain are you guys based on for your tokens?
That's a really good question. We are, Will, can we at least say the people that we're talking to? I don't think we need to talk about...
I don't think we can.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't think you can say it, we can't edit this, so...
We can talk more later, because I want to learn more about what you guys are doing in the crypto
Let's
space.
chat about it later, but what we can say is...
I'll be happy to talk with you about it by idea. I just can't talk about it in public.
Yeah.
All we'll say is they have a cool blockchain, and we're discovering the best ways to work with it. And so it's
dope.
been a really cool period. It's a very fertile ground at the moment. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's so much cool tech going out right now. It's amazing.
I do want to mention, because Captain Nico just put all the stuff in the chat, so I'm just going to start reading what he said. Whether I understand it or not is irrelevant. I'm just going to read it. So we're developing 2 boards at this time, the Athena full size and the Athena light. Athena full size is the fully featured board, 3 steppers for 3 Z-axis auto leveling. You all are madmen. 3 Z motors for auto leveling? All right, I can get down. The light board has less features, 1 stepper motor meant as a drop-in replacement for the Chitu boards. Some features are RPM, PWM control of the fans, thank God. Multiple outputs, 5, 12, and 24 volt. Multiple end stop and thermistor inputs running on Raspberry Pi CM4. Justin asked if they both use CM4, and the response was the video interposer board.
It was after.
Oh, okay. Which
I sent you a
can be customized to run any LCD, Wi-Fi, Gigabit Ethernet, eMMC, support for up to 8K LCD. That's right.
Yeah, I have a question. Will your printer I don't know how far along in design process is, but something that I really enjoyed, there's a whole Twitter thread on it. I'll find it and send it to you guys about with the Prusa SL1S and how they had the light guide. And that's something that a lot of the Chitu and Elegoo, whatever, printers don't have that. And so people were wondering on the new Elegoo Jupiter, how are they going to handle the 6K? Because shining a big light at a 6K screen is not going to work. You really need the light guide. And Prusa has whole write-up and open sourced, obviously, about how that technology would work. So that would be something I'd be interested in seeing on the Atlas printer. That
just before you answer, Will, one thing I just want to clarify as we talk about it is it's not like so much the Atlas printer, in that currently it's a project with a variety of people and how it's going to come out. But one thing we're really afraid of, because we're out here talking about it, is people to not realize that there's a whole team behind it. So yeah, sorry, go on, Will, and answer that, mate.
With regards to printer design, I would say that right now the team is overall more focused on the boards because we feel like that's the most important thing.
I would
agree.
We
have some mock-ups that we are. I live by the axiom of under promise and over deliver. So we have some, straight up, it's not possible in today's world right now with COVID and shipping and things for us to put out a fully featured printer this year. It's just not possible. We couldn't, even if we had all of the money, we just couldn't get it across the water fast enough. Yeah, that's true.
It's true.
So what we have focused mostly on is and by we I mean Captain Nico and PK Electronics and Mango, is on the boards and the software. We have some, I would say, what do they call it? The bare bones CPU kits. I've been building my own computers since the early 90s. Well, not like a NUC, more like you can buy like a CPU that's bare bones. It has just the motherboard, the fans.
Okay, yeah.
So we are going to look at having a proof of concept bare bones printer that we can drop the Athena boards in, very quickly to show, hey guys, look, here it is working in a printer, so that you can, know that it actually works. So it's worth you. If you want to get an alternative replacement for your existing printers, or you want to try one of these, first entry kind of alpha printers from us, that's something that we're looking at trying to do. But in terms of a flagship printer, that's something that we're going to be taking a little bit more deliberative, longer term approach on, something we'll be looking at for 2022, 2023, just so that
you can have everything that you want.
Yeah. Well, and then honestly, Nico has got some crazy shit that he has developed and shown us that's just not in any other printer. And some of that is going to require some differences in the printer design.
3 Z-axes for auto leveling. Yeah, nobody else does that.
Yeah. So, and the beautiful thing is he actually has, he sent us some photos of the development printer he has that's using that, and it's fucking dead sexy. It was one of the first things I saw.
Nico, if you would like us to, by all means, you can post like a link or something down there. I'll leave that here at his discretion.
He can't. He'll have to. For some
Send
reason,
it on Discord.
YouTube doesn't.
Okay,
have him
cool.
post it in your Discord, and then I can post it
If
to the
you send
YouTube
something
chat.
to us, Nico, we can link it through.
Yeah,
And
'cause
then
I
also, yeah, I'll find it here. Don't worry, hang on a sec.
this kind of stuff is amazing to me, and it's hilarious because we went right into the boards. We didn't even talk about the history of Atlas 3D, how you guys got started. Because you guys, we are all very much like a hamster that just did a line of cocaine and is ready to go. I want to know about your history because I know there are people here that know your history, but like I don't know a lot of your history. There's a Kickstarter involved in here, and sometimes the 3D printing industry ain't too happy about the Kickstarter campaigns.
Yeah, right. We've seen a lot of sort of gun and run kind of things over the years.
I mean,
There's
look at
been-
what's going on right now. Anycubic and Elegoo are both doing Kickstarters right now. Anycubic for their DLP Photon Ultra,
The Ultra Photon. Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And the Jupiter from Elegoo. They're both going to Kickstarter.
I predict right now, I'm going to tell you that, don't get me wrong. I love Elegoo. I own every one of my printers that's in my farm right now. They're all Elegoo machines. I sing lots of praises of Elegoo, but I'm going to say right now, unless they have a whole lot of $600 units, and I'm pretty sure they don't,
Probably 100, I would guess.
I would be surprised if they have even that many.
50, yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't include shipping either. They're like, $600, you know, I mean,
Yeah, what's
That's
a printer
the-
that large going to cost? $200 to ship it?
at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to pay 33% of the value of your printer.
Unless they're doing the subsidized, really super cheap AliExpress type shipping and gonna do it on a slow boat.
These are crates, right?
Oh,
the Saturn
no.
is about as big as you can get.
Even slow boating it will still cost
Yeah.
a chunk.
And
I
then
mean,
you get to the
yeah.
U.S. coast, and it is not cheap to move across the United States. I mean, just put it to that because we've been doing the math on moving resin, and resin is way easier to move than machines.
Big box machines, exactly. So I think it's very telling that they're not talking about friendly shipping to your local country, and that they're talking about inclusive shipping not included. A lot of people
They're
will
gonna
get the
charge it
sticker shock.
afterward, and they're gonna charge it after the fact 100%. They're gonna do the Kickstarter
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
and they're gonna
They'll-
charge shipping afterward
Because they
and
don't
tie it
have the
through
machine
everyone.
done yet. And I'm the same way. I've got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Marses. And mind you, only 6.5 of them are functional. 2 Saturns technically. And I just got the Photon Mono X. I got it for $530 on Prime Day. Like an extra $30 for an extra 50 millimeters in the Z. Yeah, okay, I'll pay that. And I just got the big wash and cure. Although my original Anycubic wash and cure is back there and it's broken.
I see
Huh.
it.
The board shot. It does not take inputs anymore from its stupid capacitive thing. We're gonna do a video where we convert it over to running on an Arduino because I still want it and I'm gonna use
I need to
alcohol.
Could
in
you
it.
please make it
I
Wi-Fi
want to make an
controlled?
Arduino board for my 5-gallon bucket.
Huh?
I want to make a 5-gallon wash and cure. Well, not cure, just wash. I need to get a magnet, something that can spin a magnet.
Yeah,
For
the
a 5-gallon
centrifugal.
bucket.
Yeah.
Well, you could just make a motor.
You just use a
using the
magnetic
bucket.
stir bar instead of one
Yeah.
of those because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
use the. And I've got the big Anycubic wash and cure plus. It's outside. Oh, it's outside because it's still on set with the Photon. Because I had all that stuff together. Because like part of buying Anycubic is you get that nice wash and cure as well, and the cover's the same damn color. But the one thing I was so glad about to see on the Jupiter, as well as like on the Frozen Sonic Mega AK, doors. I can't stand the damn covers because I can't stack the machines.
And they get so dirty as well. If you've got resin in your
Right.
gloves and you take them on, eventually they're just this horrible, blurry mess.
Well, even further-
Price, mate. It's price. That extra metal is expensive, and everyone's
It's
price
fair.
sensitive.
It's fair, and like I get it, but like there's part of me, I've got a laser cutter. There's part of me that just wants to put the thing in there, cut it out on the laser, put on some hinges, and make my own damn door. But
That's
Do
what
it.
I think. Who was it? One of the people on the Maker Call made one with doors and like a
That's big
heater
time.
and stuff for his
Yeah,
Riotech
that makes
blue.
sense.
in the winter. He had it
yeah,
in his
blue's
garage.
a tough material, and it's the stinkiest. I
Yeah.
only turn on
Sarai
VOC
green,
filters
baby.
when we're running
Sarai
blue.
green.
Huh?
If you
Soraya
haven't
Green.
printed with Soraya Green, it is their most. It's not green. It comes out neon yellow, but it is
Oh.
actually. It's a fantastic. If you mix it with a gray and you add just a little bit of white pigment, you can get some really really good greens out of it. But straight out of the bottle, it's like fucking neon, and it has a very distinct smell. And
Interesting.
Nova Blue.
One
Great resins, but very strong smells.
one thing that popped to my mind there, obviously, is you've got all these printers in the back, and you were saying you've got a fair collection of the resin as well. Is do you just more as a general question about your business, do you end up doing a lot of print jobs that are like medium to small runs, or small to medium runs, or is it like design me this object or whatever? The reason I ask, as like a follow on to that, is one thing we've noticed is that for all the will in the world, all of the material costs, all of the machines, all of the detail, and the main thing and cost is always the cleanup time and the preparation
It's
and
human
putting
time.
it together. It's that stuff that really screws it. And we've
Yeah.
been looking for ways of like, how do you solve that problem? Much like logistics, how much stuff can you fit on a pallet? It's like, how quickly can you process and do things?
Well,
Just interested to know how you guys tackle that stuff.
Captain Nico was talking about it in the chat that we really do need to have a fully automated system. Justin suggested a robot arm, and then I'm going to say the two of them can pay for it. Because I would love to have a KUKA arm to do all that shit for me, but it's not going to happen.
Or Mark want to sponsor this?
It's all manual. So we do short runs for people, particularly like I've got a jewelry client. So this is some parts for them.
Yep.
Printed on the
Yeah.
Mars. This is from my Mars. Because nobody orders white, and until I run out of white, I'm just going to keep using the Mars. I'm at a point where I've got enough Marses still in boxes that when their screens die, I'm not fixing them. I'm going to give them to local staff members that want them. Or if Justin wants to pay me to ship one out to him, I'll ship it out. I don't care. Because literally they're $200 printers. It is not worth my time to fix it to put a $50 screen into the new monos, but I've got 4 of the LCD screens that I paid $20 each for. It's not worth my time to put it in. But yeah, the support removal is the big deal. So I actually tell people, I will charge you less if you take off the support yourself.
Seriously though, donate them to your local high school.
Yeah.
I would take them to a makerspace first, like a local makerspace.
Get them when they're young.
So the reason I would do that is, one, I've got a local makerspace that is in economic distressed area, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Amrock Fab Lab in Tampa, Florida. The average household income within a 1 mile radius of their makerspace is $17,000 a year. Household income.
So yeah, a good place to be able
I'm
to
going to donate it
play
to
around
them
with stuff.
and
That's
let
cool.
them use it before I give it to a high school. And
That's fair enough.
they're going to understand the precautions to take. I don't have my editor with me, but resin is toxic. Normally there'd be a, big red thing that comes up there. Schools don't get this, and when a kid gets hurt, now it's my fault.
Yeah, that's
Fair.
fair.
And
fair.
what does America love?
Lawsuits.
Lawsuits.
Yeah, baby.
Freedom and lawsuits,
But
right?
when-
The freedom to be sued.
Exactly. When the
In
prints
the
are done...
1980s,
Go ahead.
I was to say, in the 1980s, like 1988 to 1992, it became apparent that there was a new set of skills that if you were going to succeed in the modern economy, you needed to acquire, namely basic computer skills. You needed to learn how to type. You needed to know how to navigate a general user interface. You needed to know how to do DOS. I fundamentally believe that 3D creative tools, whether they be making supports, learning how to sculpt, all of this is the new engineering class. It is the new, it's an entirely new class of profession.
Engineering 202.
Yeah, more or less, yeah. Like, I mean, what we do is structural engineering. You have to understand
It's true.
a lot that, I mean, I am not actually an engineer. I didn't go to school for engineering.
I'm not
I
either.
happen to
Josh,
have
are
the-
you an engineer?
Not at all.
There is not an engineer on this call.
Well, Nico's in the chat. He's kind of
That's
here.
true.
He's an engineer.
Oh, well, okay. Well, he said he'll be back in a bit, so he's not here right now. So there is not one... Between the 4 of us, there is not an engineer here. And
But it will, as Will said, it is going to become more and more important. I mean, we can get super future gazing and say, well, you know, when we're all starting to live in VR and upload ourselves to heaven, that will be made up of 3D models.
how much will it cost you per month to get into heaven? Because I feel
Oh,
like there's
yeah.
got to be a monthly
1995.
transaction for
There's
that.
got to be a monthly transaction. I don't know, man. I reckon I'm a steady terabyte. You can probably put me into a
If you
terabyte.
want to really answer that question,
Compression's going to be fine. You can get a lot in there.
the age of
500% compression ratio.
seriously, for you guys, you're talking about that, the age of EM, look that up and listen to that audiobook. It is exactly about that. It's about compression ratios, and it's a hypothetical look at what would happen in a world where we were able to engage with our technology that deeply.
Yeah, I think it's something that ties in. There's another really interesting phrase that I've heard said about the 3D thing, but specifically with the 3D printing stuff is it's low stakes engineering. Because it's like we're doing stuff like building these complicated bridges and bits and bobs, and like in other environments, this usually means if you build the bridge wrong and like you get a print fail, people die because the bridge crashes. It's kind of interesting in our situation where we get to make all these structures and apply these various principles, like, you know, like 45-degree angles to hold things up and bracing and so on and so forth. But it doesn't really matter. It's just, you know.
It is pretty interesting though. But 3D printing can range from you're making these models to have for games or whatever, or then you could have 3D prints that are going to space.
Yeah.
They're like fully 3D
printed
printed rockets. Rocket Lab's rocket is fully 3D printed.
I am new, sort of, to 3D printing in terms of like, you know, years ago, I have followed 3D printing, but I didn't buy into FDM and things like that because it didn't make sense for my use cases at home, but I was following along. Where I see us going now with not just SLA printing, but just additive manufacturing in general, it feels like we've kind of gone out of the plateau and we're into another growth phase where biomedical 3D printing houses, printing ships, printing cars, all kinds of things are going to become printable. And instead of having to centralize your manufacturing in low-wage nationality, like low-wage locations, manufacturing is going to move closer to everybody. Because, you know, you can have a makerspace should never ever run out of money, because a makerspace should be an infinite factory. If you have a variety of different printers, you really can make anything. And I am still a little idealistic about that, I guess. We very much want to start, you know, in 2022 and 2023, some of our plans include trying to start makerspaces where all we have, we're just going to throw 3D printers in the back and they'll run PODs, and the POD keeps the lights on, and then we let the locals just come in and use it, and all you have to do is pay for your materials.
As a former makerspace director, I'm in.
Yeah.
Great. We should talk about that, because I don't actually know how to set it up. Like, it's an ideal for me and we want to do it, but we have to find partners.
That would be really amazing to have makerspaces. There's a company that's starting to do pretty much 3D printing vending machines.
Yes.
And it's just literally a pod that you drop in. It has 5 or 6 printers. I don't remember the exact numbering. And it's so you can have local manufacturing. Josh, you're muted, I think.
Thanks. I don't know why I've got the headphones set. No, sorry, go on.
But local manufacturing really will save on, like, transportation cost is most of your cost and most of your goods.
Yeah.
Like an iPhone costs Apple a couple $100 to make, and they charge you $1,000. Most of it's part of its margin, but then a lot of it's taking the raw material from wherever they're mining the material
or whatever,
and then that's getting shipped to the manufacturer. Then that's only manufacturing a single chip, for example. Then that chip's getting sent to another factory to put it on the board. Then the boards are getting sent to. There's so much cost there.
Semiconductors from Taiwan, and everything that comes to the various points. Exactly, man.
But if you can have local manufacturing down the street from you.
There's another trend that fits it in. I spoken with a number of people about this, is you know, we've had such an abundance of product over the last 40 years. Like, we've been given basically everything we could ask for. And whenever there's been even the beginnings of trickling of demand, this, you know, stuff gets made. But now, so we've got this kind of era coming, and you see it in lots of high-end department stores is a really good example of, like, I don't want a product now, I want personalized products. I want products that are custom made, they're just for me. And that's the stuff that 3D print excels at. Because I said it to my dad ages ago. Oh, you know, what's 3D printing is no good for manufacturing, he said to me. I said, yeah, well, if you're making 10,000 of a unit, sure. But I was like, Dad, what happens if you want to give all your friends, again, in his context, what if you want to give them all a golf tee, like 100 golf tees that all have your friends' names in them? It's going to take the same amount of time to make those 100 as it will to make them all the same with 3D printing. You can just go, cool, here's the variants. And that's where 3D printing and custom products becomes like kind of fitted with a variety of consumer behaviors. And then I was going to give you one example, which is, it's so weird, it's completely different, but you can buy these kits for makeup now inside Harrods. Harrods is like the top department store in the UK. It's like the royalty used to shop there,
Yes,
right?
it's a very, very nice one.
You can buy a plastic bag there, you know. So you can go in there and you can buy a device that measures the pH of your skin and the color of your skin, and then it mixes these like 3 or 4 different compounds together for your like ultimate foundation. And then it like mixes it together and says, right, this is designed for you, Claire. This is your foundation. And I've often thought that that's very indicative of what we're going to look for in products. Like, I don't want this couch. I want this couch with my butt groove in it. Like, this kind of idea is going to perpetuate a lot more. And the people best placed to serve it are going to be people with 3D printers and maker shops.
And I think generative design is really going to be what it comes down to, because you're not going to be able to customize everything manually, but like one of the best examples I think is the prosthetics, and they almost all the time it's you get certain measurements and then the generative design handles the rest, because you're not going to be able to go and model that every single time. You're going to need to have certain parameters that are adjustable either in a parametric software, but then that does limit you to X, Y, and Z. But with the generative design, you have a lot more. And that kind of adds on to what I wanted to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, rolls into a question from the chat.
Yeah,
hit it.
Yeah.
And where AE asked about how do I measure like a 200 millimeter span of PLA to support 10 kilograms, for example, or other, depending on what you need to do. Yes, you could do it and do destructive testing. You're gonna go print it and then test it.
It's more fun that way.
But 10 kilograms, yeah, that's the basic engineering principle. You're gonna do destructive testing. Once it breaks, that's the limit. And then you get your factor of safety. But you could always
what's safety?
Safety third. But in most of the CAD suites like Fusion 360 and Topology, SolidWorks, even
you're such an Entopology shill and you don't even get paid to say it.
No one gets paid to say it, and everyone's a shill.
We are Prusa shills and we don't get paid to say that.
I still haven't got the shirt yet, but like that's really where I think doing like these analyses in your CAD, because you can apply whatever material. You can say this is an FDM print made with PLA, made with ABS, and you can also put in like the infill and do the structure tests on in most of these programs.
With the element analysis.
Yeah, and see where something's gonna break or where it's gonna bend. Like there's so much testing that's available
without having to actually make it.
Yeah,
that's really cool. So you're saying that the environments that you can simulate that sort of stuff are getting better, so that we won't have to do so much manufacture in the future. We'll just be able to like, this is what you need.
Well, and literally like exactly that. As we're on the call, I got a message on Facebook of someone who has a broken part to a telescope. Maybe they're watching. I told them to watch the live stream. But they're like, yeah, can I bring you the part and get it copied? I'm like, sure. As long as we're done. Well, can I pick it up today? No.
No.
No, you can't do that.
We're not at replicator stage just yet.
But see, this is the problem.
the
It
thing.
comes down to an education level thing. They're completely right. We can 3D print it, but realistically, getting it done in a reasonable time frame, it's not possible.
Yeah.
No, so that's the thing is that okay. In the old way of thinking about doing these kinds of things, and at least in resin now, we can do that. We can take an idea at zero GMT, and by the end of the day, have sculpted, concepted, sculpted, supported, and printed a model or a prototype. That is absolutely a thing that can happen, and there are so many people all over the world who have just enough free time to do one thing.
Yeah.
Bang on. Yeah.
I was going to show you this, right? So, by the way, keep going, William. I'm just showing you here is so this is a test model I did last week with an architect. So maybe I'll show it a bit closer, but this is basically
nice.
This is a floor plan of an. Let's say I'm not allowed to talk too much about it because it's like he said don't. But basically, it's an expensive hospital that's been demoed, and architects traditionally have only ever been able to do 3D printing via FDM. This is actually, if any of you ever played Counter-Strike, this is a Counter-Strike map in first-person shooter, but like put into 3D. I found it on Thingiverse. It's awesome. But so like they've only ever been doing it in FDM, and they've been playing crazy numbers to get turnarounds on their designs. But again, slightly harking back to Lychee and like where things are at now, we're able to work in Lychee, slice this up, and again, with a couple of hours of 3D work, get to a stage where we can give architects really accurate models based on their work.
Yep.
And that stuff up till now, even 3-4 years ago, was almost like the realm of like, oh no, we couldn't do that without spending 100 hours and this taking so much time and expense. And I think that's the thing that people are only through. I would say it's happened quicker in resin because like we're closer to the zeitgeist of everything getting so much cheaper, but it's been happening in FDM for years as well. It's like people are only really starting to grasp like, oh, you can make that, can't you? It is useful.
My dad is like this now. My dad is just getting to that point where he's like, can you 3D print this? Like he and my parents are just finally, because of all the videos, my parents religiously watch the videos. My father's probably watching the YouTube video or watching the YouTube stream. He'll comment every now and then. And he was actually on the podcast. If you want to meet my dad, he was on the Father's Day special, which is a 2-hour roast fest back and forth of myself, my dad, and my identical twin brother. Nice. But he's getting to this point where he understands it well enough. He's like, you can make this, right? I'm like, yep. He said, I can buy it for $5. I said, then you go buy it for $5 because it's going to cost way. I said, my cost is less than that, but retail, if we were to sell it to you, would be somewhere in the $20 to $22 range. Yeah,
and he goes, why? And you go, because of the skill and the time. Oh,
it's the
yeah,
time.
that's
the $60 kind of thing. You want to go to Games Workshop, you're going to pay $30 to $60 for one model.
Is that thing solid?
No, I hollowed it.
Oh, you hollowed it. Okay.
Nice.
This cost me, I think, $1 to print. In resin, I'd have to go and check to be exactly certain, but basically $1. End user consumer. So I mean, this is from the Dark Gods Kickstarter. It's one of like 20 something models that came in that Kickstarter that cost like $20. So it's like $1 a model, and then it cost me $1 to print it. But I can print it as many times as I want. So if I print out 5, it costs me maybe, we'll call it $10. Let's just say $10 total cost. But if I went to get 5 of these same model from GW or from any of the other resin cast physical product people, I'm looking at $30 to $60 for each one.
I would charge more than that, but
or like, I mean, so you think about this from like a game store perspective, because we're all gamers and nerds. We've all been to game stores over the last 20 years. You go in, they're full of things that aren't moving. Dusty shelves is lost money. I was a retail inventory manager for 6 years for a big box retailer.
I'm so sorry.
And if I had dust on my shelves, I was getting mad at people because that meant product wasn't moving. And if product isn't moving, you're losing money as a retailer.
Yep.
Now, game store owners are passionate. They love their passion. They love it. It's great. But most of them don't actually know how to run a business because they've got dusty shelves.
I love my local game store. They're a board game cafe.
Yeah.
Ah,
They
I
have
a few near me.
over 1,500 board games. It's a husband and wife, and it's their personal board game collection that they turned into a business. The wife,
like record stores.
the wife is one of the most prominent female UI and UX developers in the world, and you never know it if you just walked up and talked to him. The husband is one of the greatest mini painters in the area that isn't paid by Blizzard. I know the best one. He's paid by
Waffle?
Blizzard. Huh?
it's not Waffle, right?
Waffle.
Yeah, Waffle is an oil mini painter.
Yeah.
The what?
Waffle, Wappel. He does
Yeah, I know.
high level miniature painting.
Yeah, no, it's not him. No.
Okay, sorry.
No,
Curiosity. But yeah, so you were saying they run that and that's their store. But it's a different model, right? That they go in, people maybe have a bite to eat, have a drink, and then they get access to all the games for like an hourly fee or something like this. I guess it's different for everywhere. That's what we have in the UK.
I do have to give a shout out. I want to thank Brett Tinus. Tinius, maybe Tinius for the $5 super chat. Appreciate that. Helps us go. The name of the painter, I know his real name. I don't know what he goes by. His real name's Dan.
Yeah, that's him.
All right.
His real name's
Well,
Dan.
thank you, Dan.
Look, these are the type of people that he said, "Oh, you want to come and meet my parents?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. I'll go meet your parents. Cool." Yeah, his parents are in 2 coffee cans in their front display cabinet.
Oh,
His parents are dead. And that's the joke. The joke is that you can go meet his parents because they're in the front display cabinet. Like, that's the kind of business they run. But they've started doing minis, and we're going to be working with them because they do every Tuesday. Yeah, every Tuesday's mini painting. Every Wednesday is, actually play night where you can bring all your minis set up and play. It's $5 a day to go play there. I don't know how they make money. I don't ask a lot of questions.
Well, if I'm going to be so bold as to say that coming out of the era of product, services and experiences, I truly believe are the future of all this stuff. On the side, I own another company called Plastic Alchemy, which is my name in the chat here actually. And like it was set up to for 3D printing specifically. So it's like tabletop games, not necessarily so much like war games and stuff, but more like board games, which is my big passion. But like the idea is like DLC for board games and also accessories for board games. A really interesting example, there's a company called Asmodee, one of the largest publishers of board games in the world, also Fantasy Flight Games. Now, usually what happens when they sell you a box game, if you lose a part in that box or it's missing when it arrives, currently the retailer that sells it to you is responsible to give you that spare part, which means they actually have to crack open another box, take out one part, and then they have to sell usually like 2 to 3 more of the units before they're even back at break even, just to solve that one customer's problem, which I think is just like atrocious. But really what should be happening is the game stores should have 3D printers. They should print licensed accessories and swag and all sorts of downloadable content for board games. And they should be consistently upselling you on the games that you're already buying. And not just from a business perspective. I don't know about you. I want to play DLC for board games. I want to come in and get new stuff that adds to my game and all the rest of it.
Yeah,
But
I mean, a game that does that is like Cards Against Humanity. A lot of card games like that, like they have expansion packs that you can start having different stories that you end up
experiences. Yeah, totally. But the the idea there that you could go to a game store and rather than paying for your Reaper or your Games Workshop Mini or something, but you just pay to get your table and get unlimited paint and get a nice environment and get like a soda.
The nice environment's the tough part.
Yeah, that's
like,
very true.
They had to enact a code of conduct that included, like you have to make sure that you shower and you don't smell.
Yes.
I've heard such things.
Yeah.
I am the old man of the group. I'm almost 40. I've been married. My kid's just about graduated. My kid just graduated college. I tried to take my then wife and daughter to a game store because I've been a gamer since the 90s, and when my daughter was old enough, I wanted us to paint minis together. It was a thing I kind of dreamed about doing, tabletop kind of dioramas and gaming together. And my wife was super bullish on the idea. She was very creative, and we got into the game store, and both my wife and daughter were so uncomfortable that we just had to leave. It's been one of the things I've been happy to see online, though, is that the gaming space is changing. It is not just, I mean, to be frank, it's not 25-year-old neckbeards anymore. There's a much more diverse and broader audience. And for us, like if you look at our rat girls that we had made, yes, they are sexy rat girls, but we're trying to do things more tastefully. We are very much focused on, I hate using the word because it's such a buzzword, but being more inclusive, being more understanding
you're
of
right.
a lot of different views and perspectives.
My girlfriend is, it's funny, out of the two of us, she's the cosplayer. I've never cosplayed anything. She's cosplayed tons of things. She refuses to go back into the community because it's treacherous as a woman in this industry. And it's hilarious. We've been dating for 4 years now, I think. She has never integrated a 3D print into one of her cosplays, and I still get on her for it all the time.
You're like, it has a purpose here.
We have a resin that is actually going to be good for that. Our more durable resin is something that is actually was made with cosplay in mind, and this might blow your mind. There are resin companies in Europe right now applying for skin-safe resin, 3D printable skin-safe resin that after a standard post-cure, it's freaking skin-safe.
That would be awesome. I mean, that's ideal.
Like when that hits the market, imagine being able to make a face mask that you can actually wear and not worry about having the resin chemical burn on your face.
Yeah, it appears that Super Tank from your Discord wants something on a t-shirt, and I think it's tasteful, sexy rats. Or we're trying to do things more tastefully. I don't know which one they wanted, but they want that on a t-shirt.
We're trying to do things more tastefully? That sounds like something Super Tanky would want.
Yeah, and I guess Captain Nico has been yelling at us in the comments to show off the board, and I am seeing...
Yeah, I sent you the pictures. We got them.
Things.
So in this way, so like just to quickly point out, I have to quickly dash off to some family in a moment, but and will be able to, I'm sure, talk to you about this a lot more. But the 3 Z-axes there are a really beautiful and fascinating feature about the printer.
Justin, can you show them off? Since I know
you've got them.
Justin has OBS virtual cam, so he can just change. He can get rid of his face.
Nice.
Because if you
let me
if you
open
have
everything
dash,
down real quick.
Huh?
And then I think we can also talk about the force sensor a bit, Will, as well.
Yeah.
What was the thing I was going to say while you're getting that up? No, pretty much. I'm really sorry I have to dash, guys.
Oh, dude, we can do this another. We can continue another day. It
honestly.
Now I will say in 2
pleasure.
weeks. 2 weeks is our 1 year. So I'm sorry, it's not happening in 2 weeks. I'm gonna have as many of the staff on that call as possible. It's gonna be a real crazy one. I have a feeling they're gonna roast me, which I think would be hilarious.
Can we do a roast?
You can do a roast. I don't care. You all are gonna. Well, you won't. Brad is gonna shave my head at some point for a charity live stream. Whenever my back is fixed, we're going. I've been growing out my hair since August of last year, and as soon as my back is fixed, we're gonna do a charity live stream, and all the money is gonna go to Make-A-Wish Foundation.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And I said, and so Brad on our staff, he's actually a Make-A-Wish recipient. His episode is number 10. If you want to hear all about Brad and his wish. And he's going to be the one that dies and shaves my head.
Wow. I was going to say, I shaved my head mid-COVID because my hair got too long and I wasn't able to see a hairdresser.
I have the longest hair in the household now. My girlfriend's hair is like half the length of mine. And
I just got my beard trimmer, just hacked into it because I didn't have anything else. I was like, this is what I'm going to do.
Yep.
But anyway, guys, I'm really sorry. I'm going to have to dash off.
You're good.
Really a real pleasure chatting with you, and as a sales and business person, I'm always like, hey guys, check out the resin, check out our Shopify store, all of that stuff.
Yeah, please shout out anybody you want before you head out, and Yeah, go for it. Man.
Yeah. Basically, just atlas3d.shopify is where we're doing late pledges on our resin. And then, Will, I would say make sure you show the guys the coin platform and stuff in a bit as well. Because, we was crazy, guys. In a 2-week period, we spun up our own website in a way to give people coins in this resin. And it's something we're really proud to be bringing to people right now. We think it's pretty cool.
Shoot them the link for me since I'm on my phone and not on my computer.
Oh,
yeah, as I say, I don't think Will can do anything right now. Will, you've been tagged a non-trivial amount of times in your own Discord. I'm just enjoying it.
I'm sure that I have been, and people, and see, everyone is used to me having instantaneous response, basically 16 to 20 hours a day. Like, you can measure my response time generally in minutes. And so I'm sure I have quite a few pings from people saying, like, why are you not responding? What is going on? Where is my Orwell?
I'm gonna go. They just I got sent some links, so I posted those in the YouTube comments as well, so people can check it out. But yeah, on Justin's screen right now, and Josh, you're gonna be heading out, right?
Yeah, I am. I'm just heading off now.
Yeah. Man.
Ark says bets on how many of them aren't wearing pants. I think
pants.
I am wearing pants. It's fine.
Josh, did we see you walk? Did you walk outside when you went and got water? Did you walk outside the house?
You did see me walk outside, yeah.
Behind the window.
I am wearing shorts. I don't know if that counts.
I'm wearing shorts.
All right, guys, have a really wicked evening. No, it's just the morning for you guys. You're fine. You got plenty of energy.
It's 2:30 in the afternoon for me. It's like, what, 10:30 in the morning for Justin? 11 in the morning for Justin.
And the same for Will.
Yeah.
International business.
Hey, man.
Indeed.
All right, guys, take it easy. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
It was nice meeting you.
All right, see everyone in the chat as well. Bye.
Yeah, Will, where are you located in the U.S.?
Me?
Approximately. Yeah.
I'm in Pahrump, Nevada.
Okay.
Which is about 45 minutes north-ish of Las Vegas.
Okay. Not too far from me then. A few hours.
No. I mean, I'm kind of constantly in motion. My family's a fairly mobile family. So during our Kickstarter, I actually moved twice. I moved up to Santa Cruz, California to help fix and sell a house. And then that house sold, so I moved back down to Pahrump. And then in the next 2 or 3 months, I'll probably be moving up to Washington. So for now, I'm out in Pahrump, and then Atlas is officially headquartered in Nevada, and it will be in perpetuity because of reasons. Lots of very good. There are many business-friendly laws, let's say, in the state of Nevada that make it advantageous to live and reside here.
Yeah.
I'm in Florida, so the direct opposite. Well, it's just as hot, but it's like, the same percentage of heat. It is also ambient humidity.
Yeah, I lived in Virginia for about 5 years, so I've dealt with the whole air you can eat, the chewy air. Yeah, I know that. I try to explain chewy air to people from the desert, and they don't understand. They're like, "What's chewy air?" I'm like, "It's air that you can feel when you breathe. It's so humid, you can chew it." It's So the Athena board that you guys were showing.
What is this thing? Talk to me about this.
So the Athena board is actually 3 boards in one. It's got your base motherboard and then a CM4 or a Pi 4 board that sits on top, and then an interposer that controls the LCDs, as I understand it. Nico and PK Electronics are actually the engineers here. I'm just a support monkey. I put sticks on things, and I'm an anthropologist, so I understand human systems fairly well.
Literally why your name is Support Monkey on the Discords. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I chose, historically, if you were a good monkey, you were somebody who was a good servant. You served well. You made sure the people around you had everything that you needed. And I am a service-oriented person, so for me, the name Support Monkey was intentionally taken. I'm the guy who you go to make sure things get fixed, whatever it happens to be. I
dig it. That's what I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna tell that. I'm like, yeah, I'm just basically the support monkey for this company, honestly.
Yep. Every company needs a good monkey. If you don't have a good monkey, your company will fall down. You need a good monkey.
We have a cat. Does that count?
Yes. The internet loves cats. If you don't have cats, you're not really playing well.
She's our director of marketing and HR. And if you don't believe me, go to our website.
Her stunt double standing in today, though.
Yeah, the stunt double's here. She's off working on a Saturday as she does, so the stunt double's here today.
So the flagship Athena board is definitely going to be a more expensive board, but it's got lots of standout features. The main one being, as you've noticed, the 3-stepper motors to do automatic leveling, but also tilt printing. And that's something that it's an alternative way of getting at the tilt, because if you've got 3 independent stepper motors, you can actually have them move.
You can tilt the damn bed.
Exactly. And that's something that Nico is working on, and that's a unique innovation to him. He's also got some other things that are only possible because of that flagship board that has the extra thermistors and the extra basically input outputs. He can do things like, and I'm pretty sure I can talk about all of this, Nico. So, I'm pretty sure it's okay. He's working on this idea to push up the FEP with a little puff of air. You know how sometimes with resin printing, the FEP gets stuck to the LCD, and that can be problematic because it increases the amount of suction forces. Well, he's got a little.
Ahead. I know you've already started, but go ahead.
He's got he's working on this design to puff a little bit of air right up underneath the right up underneath the FEP to cause it to separate from the LCD to release those suction forces, so that you have a gentler pull on the model. And that combination of tilting the bed as it peels up,
solves
as
your
well as
elongation.
Yes, yeah, it should help with that. And that's something that, again, this is really where, for us, we just feel incredibly lucky to have met Nico, because he's done so much work over the last 6 years that we just want to really show the world, like, look at what this guy's doing. It's not all happening over in Asia. There are amazing things that are happening, and he's doing it all on open systems. Anybody can buy a Pi board, and our goal with this is that the design that Concepts and PK are doing will be licensed by the OPA in an open framework that allows everybody to have access to it, but also protects their innovations and allows them in a sustainable way to keep making 3D printers. That is our whole goal in this, to find a way to sustainably fund open development so that manufacturers can compete on implementation, not lock-in. Whenever people are competing on implementations and on features, it's better for the consumer and it's better for the market.
Now, Miniocalypse is asking us, will it be able to be applied to the new DLP technology coming to the home market soon?
I don't know the answer to that question. That would be a Nico. I don't want to speak wrongly on that one. Yeah. I think that Nano DLP is as a framework, it should. Now,
I don't understand the industry's huge desire around DLP. I get that you don't have to replace screens, but have you ever tried to fix a Nano DLP printer? Or a Nano DLP projector? Because you don't. You don't fix them.
I would say that it is an interesting idea, but projection televisions lost to flat screen televisions. And I would anticipate that the same thing is going to happen in this market. The only exception being OLED hates UV. It does not. UV destroys OLED screens. Yeah. And the most advanced screens on the market with the highest contrast ratios, they're all moving towards that OLED thing. And so
I laugh because the TV in my living room is DLP because it hasn't died yet. It hasn't died yet.
Yep. Now, there are, I was talking about the skin safe resins. There are also other resins that are being experimented with now that don't require UV light to cure. They'll cure in the photo initiators that they're using are far more reactive. So just standard light, just a regular light source is actually enough to cause them to cure.
That's problematic.
And it depends.
You can print faster, but you got to do it in a dark room.
Yes. Well, so you'd have to do it in a dark room. But it might basically, if you could get to non-UV, if you get photopolymers that didn't take UV, you might be able to start using the AMOLED screens. And if you could use the AMOLED screens, that might allow you to get some of the other technological advantages from that kind of screen process.
You're starting to talk about the OLO Kickstarter again, that use your phone as a DLP printer.
Basically, yeah.
What a disaster. What a disaster.
Now, I think that MSLA is basic for at least the next 2 to 3 years. Like, that's where we're going to be. I don't really know beyond that. I don't have enough data. Texas Instruments partnering with Anycubic, though, that I think is fascinating.
I agree.
I think that if anybody from Texas Instruments is listening, Atlas would love to talk with you. I friended some of you on LinkedIn. I would really like to talk with you about, doing some work with some American companies. I want a North American printer so bad. We've got the aluminum. I mean, no matter what, we're going to have to import some of the parts, but I would really love to see this done in North America. Like, this is where most of the market is anyways. Why are we importing everything if we can make it in Canada, in Mexico, and in the United States? Like, I just don't see why we can't.
I think a lot of this is because people are just, it's like, oh, you want to manufacture, you should go to China. It's just, it's like ingrained in us because it is generally spoken to be the cheapest way, but as a consumer, I don't necessarily know if I want the cheapest. I want the right. And that's why, like, I don't buy Creality printers. Because I don't want the cheapest. I want it to work, and that's why I buy Prusas. Now, of course, I still have problems with these every now and then, but they're more likely my fault than it is the printer's fault. Yeah. Now, when I bought the resin printers, when I bought the Elegoo Marses, it was the Elegoo Mars, any cubic photon, or basically a Formlabs Form 2. And when I had sample parts made from Formlabs, I had them do a piece. It was 8 inches. It was a part that you could not print in one piece on any of these machines. Formlabs was off in the z-axis by 140 thousandths of an inch. That's over a tenth of an inch they were out by. And I did that same print on my Mars. I was out by 40 thousandths. And quite frankly, that was probably because of the resin that I used to glue the parts together. Mm-hmm. And there's some other BS regarding Formlabs. But, like, I like their printers. I think their ecosystem, while you do pay a fair bit extra for it, it does work. And Preform, to me, is still the best slicing software for resin printing on the planet. Because it really works. But seeing even with Lychee's magic button, and I love that they named it their magic button. Clearly one of them was looking at what Formlabs was doing, because it's the same thing that Formlabs calls it. Or they say magic wand. I think it's magic button in Lychee. It's very, very similar. Clearly, they're poking fun at each other. And to see how good it is on both the free and now the paid version is phenomenal to me. And to see that the industry, you guys were working on this Atlas, or on the Athena board well before this BS with Chitubox happened. You saw it coming. Oh,
yeah. How do I say it? Again, I'm an anthropologist. So for me, I come at this very differently than most. And you wanted to know about Atlas's history. So in March of 2020, I'm a high school biology teacher. It's our spring break. I'm freaking out about COVID. The rest of the world is not really even concerned yet. Or is this 2019? It's really hard to tell. I'm trying to remember the timelines, but I'm on a break from school, and my sister and I go down to Vegas because I wanted to get us into Warhammer. I'm like, so let's go to Vegas. We'll go buy some armies. So we go down to a game store, and it was going to cost like $500 to get
Let's
an army.
Let's go to Vegas and do
her.
Warhammer.
And she's like,
the things nobody's ever said
she's
before.
Like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
She said, don't be dumb, just buy a 3D printer. So I went online, I started looking up 3D printers, and I find the Anycubic Photon, and I buy one. So that's March. In April, I meet Joseph Brophy, whose name is Yesic online. And in that month and in the next month, Artisan Guild and Titan Forge start offering pre-supported models. Now, nobody else had done this before. Artisan Guild charges, I think they started with $10 a month extra for their pre-supported models. And Titan Forge the next month comes out and says, fuck it, we're doing it for free, guys. And so, at the time, Greg Korakawa's 3D Printing Pro was taking care of Artisan Guild. Yesic is taking care of Titan Forge. I meet Yesic, and he and I team up, and I start taking care of Raging Heroes. And the three at the time, a year ago, it is like April, May, the top 3 Patreons are Artisan Guild, Titan Forge, and Raging Heroes. And Greg takes care of Artisan Guild, Yesic takes care of Titan Forge, and I take care of Raging Heroes. Yesic and I partner up and team up, and things kind of keep growing. We start working with Cast and Play. In May, June, we meet AVG, and Jane and Hades come and join our team. This is like July, August-ish. And now, we're really starting to get going in July, August-ish. And so in August, we go into the September, October frame. And this is where we're breaking Chitu. We're learning all kinds of new things. We haven't even officially named ourselves Atlas yet. In August, we're actually still just calling ourselves 3D Support Solutions. We're just like a random collection of guys who take care of supports. September, October comes around, and we meet Lychee, and we say, fuck it, we're switching to Lychee. This is better software.
It really is better software. If you guys are out there and you haven't tried Lychee Slicer, and you're like a Chitubox fanboy, just download it and give it a try. Just give it a try.
There is a learning curve. I raged my first 6 hours. I raged. I will not lie. I fucking raged my first 6 hours because it was very different than what I used to. And I mean, I spend 12 to 16 hours a day, every day supporting models. So my muscle memory is very strong. So when I switched from Chitu to Lychee, overcoming that muscle memory was difficult. But once you do get the flow for Lychee, it tripled our output. Like, and that's not hyperbole. It literally tripled our output.
Well, geez, I mean, it will take me on average. Now, I can't slice in Chitu 1.9, but if I go back to 1.7.3, which was my last stable version from them, it'll take 30 minutes on average. And, like, my computer's not a slouch, but it's not amazing either. It's an overclocked 4770K and a 1080 Ti. It was back then 1.7.3 days a 770 and not the 1080 Ti. But now with Lychee, I'm slicing in 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
If that. And then, it goes into UV tools, which it was going to do anyways. Yeah, for those that are watching the stream right now, Justin is throwing some stuff on his screen. It's amazing. And Justin, do you mind talking? Because, of course, we do have people that are audio only, that if you are listening audio only, you have missed this live. We do these live every Saturday, hopefully at 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm trying to make that a thing. And if you are watching us live on YouTube, leave a like. Helps the channel grow. And if you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Because we do some subjectively, we do some cool shit here, okay? And I am taking time, Justin is taking time, Will is taking time on our busy Saturdays to hang out and talk. We could be selling right now. We could be, we could be closing. We should be ABC, always be closing. But no, we're choosing to be here hanging out. So
I could be making these printable.
I would. See, I want to have that stuff to show off to people. It's like, this is what resin printing can do. Because all the damn stuff that we do, nobody lets us show off. Yes, Minioculum saying, click them damn buttons. I want you to hit the like button like it owes you money.
That is really cool, Will.
Yeah, those models are dope. How many pieces was that?
That's Nico's printer right there.
Was that
I love that printer.
Was that an alligator snapping turtle?
Oh, it is. This is from Dragon Trapper's Lodge. This is, they released this not last month, but the month before. It's a big snapping turtle.
How many pieces is that?
A lot. A lot. Now, this comes off. And there's another one, and I don't have it with me. It's downstairs. But there's another shell that goes on that has a big fucking cabin that sits on top of it with like a ballista. And, DTL, Dragon Trapper's Lodge, they've been with us from almost the beginning. They were one of our first clients that we picked up. And this whole resin thing, so we told people we were going to release our own resin, and we were trying to be really, we didn't want to be demanding. I'm very much on never being demanding. And we asked, hey, is anybody interested in maybe letting us put models with our resin? We'll pay you for the models. And everyone was like, sure, we'll do a single model. And Austin from Dragon Trapper's Lodge is like, fuck it, we're going to do 30, man. Like, how about we do a release with you? And I would never have asked for that. But because DTL came to us and was like, let's do a release with you guys in your bag, we then were able to go to all of our other clients and say, well, look at what Dragon Trapper's Lodge is doing, guys. Do you want to do this too?
Yeah, you had that good case. So Julian from Lychee's actually hanging out in there. He's saying if you love Lychee Slicer, you will love Mango OS running the open source board we are talking about. Now, is it going to run Mango OS, or are you guys going to run your own custom OS?
No, Mango. So I am a loyalty and trust guy.
Hey, yeah.
I-
Hell yeah.
When I mean, and this for me was an I situation. I met Lychee, and had a conversation with them and told them what I needed, and they made it for me in an afternoon, and just sent it to me and said, "Hey, will this work for you?" And in that moment, I knew without a shadow of a doubt I could trust them with my company, that I could bet the farm on Lychee, and I have not regretted that, not one day. And so for me, I would not push Atlas to invest in anything that didn't have Mango involved. We don't have shares in them. They don't have shares in us. We have no agreements or anything like that. I just fucking love those guys. Thomas and Julian have been excellent with us. And if you need to work with good partners, go to Lychee. You want ads for your 3D printing? Go to Lychee. Their Lychee ads helped us a lot. They drove a lot of traffic for us. Like, I really love them.
They did hook me up with a pro license. I have a 1-year pro license that they hooked me up with as an influencer. But yeah, I mean, we only have like 1,600 subscribers. Like, I reached out to Elegoo to try to get the Jupiter, and they're like, "Yeah, our minimum's 10,000 subs." I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, at least they answered back. But I've always believed that in certain cases I will ask for review units because I believe there's value. But I want companies to find us and say, yeah, we like you. You're kind of weird. You talk way too damn much. You yell for reasons that we still don't understand. But we like your moxie. We'd like to help you out. And because that way I don't end up like pimping Raid Shadow Legends, right? Because like
Yes.
every
Still
freaking
need to, though.
YouTuber does that. Or Manscaped. But I think the team has agreed that we're going to say no to Raid, but we'd say yes to Manscaped.
Manscaped is just hilarious.
You have to. It's a meme in and of itself.
And Raid
Now,
Shadow
that
Legends is a
printer
meme in
right
itself
there-
too.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
that's
it's a
funny
crazy
one, too.
meme. But I guess they pay kind of ridiculous CPM, so that's why, YouTubers do it. But yeah, I believe that forming, and I don't want to say partnerships because that's a very dirty word in business. Captain Nico was claiming that he wanted to do a 3D printer makerspace franchise. I said, "Ooh, that's the F word. We don't use that."
Like, that would be really something really cool and would work actually really well.
Well, I want a strategic alliance. That's the way to do it, where there isn't
Yeah.
a lot of paperwork. Where
We actually call it the Atlas Alliance.
Perfect. Yeah. Like, I would totally look at and say, this is kind of like the people that I like. And it's the same way that we hire. Justin was brought on literally to help me with a Raspberry Pi, and not a week later I'm getting in trouble for mail fraud because of him, and he's still on the team. There's a story to this, and it's hilarious. We're
both idiots.
He had a guy for shipping, and that guy was making fake shipping labels. And, well, in LA, if you have a couple of fake labels go through, nobody cares. In San Antonio, Florida, which, yes, there is such a thing, they catch it.
Yes.
And
It's
then they
Florida.
called me. They're like, "So, we've got a problem." I'm like, "Oh. All right, well, I'm going to start singing, and I don't care if snitches get stitches. I'm not going to federal prison." So,
Yeah. Mail fraud is mail fraud.
yeah. But, like, Justin has found himself editing videos. He does all the time lapses you see on our YouTube channel and social media. That's all Justin. He's found being a junior engineer. He does a lot of Raspberry Pi work for us. And I brought him on because I just liked him, right? He certain people, you can just kind of feel it. And that's what matters to me more, because ultimately, if you don't know how to do something, but you have that give a damn training, you'll figure it out. And like talking to Will, and especially talking to the Lychee team, y'all got the give a damn training, and that is incredibly hard to find. We have Brian Weber, I don't know, in the comments asking where can these Atlas boards be bought?
Okay. So right now, Josh sent you guys the Shopify link.
Yes.
So right now, those boards, the actual boards themselves, are not for sale. We are planning on having a sale for them in November. But what we need help from the audience on is raising the funds to finish the development. So on our Shopify, what we have right now is the OPA fund, which is $45. That will, all of that money, every dime of it, including the transfer fees. So you donate $45, $45 is going to the development of the Athena Board system. And then we have the prototype board, and that will be a signed PCB, just the PCB, mind you. This is not with the Raspberry Pi and things on this. This is just a signed, it's a bit of commemorative history, help make an open source board platform possible. That's 120.
Is that like one of the old development boards that's not populated?
So I can add to my unpopulated
so
printer
that
board
right
collection.
What we're going to do is just we're going to produce a shitload of them, and we'll have all of the logos, and then we'll have the two developers sign their signatures, and then we'll have those put it on there too, so that it'll be a piece of history. Like
so I can add to my unpopulated PCB collection for printer boards.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a duet.
Everybody likes to talk about how they want open source and they don't want things to be corporate. We need to create financial structures that are sustainable, that can then fund these people who are willing to do the work for free. Nico and PK Electronics have been working for years for free, spending their own money to bring everything up to the point where a group like us can come and say, let's call it fucking Athena and tell everybody about it.
And what people don't understand is how much work. They do not get it. Oh, well, yeah, you could just make it on a 3D printer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they do not get how much work some of this stuff takes. And as someone that's done development, that's worked, I mean, I have not taken a paycheck from 3D Musketeers ever. The only time I've ever taken money from the company is to repay myself from when I have to pay taxes on behalf of the company. That's the only time I take money from the company. They don't understand what it's like to work, and I would guess that that Captain Nico has a day job, probably does. So he's working 40 to 50 hours in a day job, coming home, working another 40 to 50 hours on this. Will, this is your full-time gig. It is still Josh's full-time gig, and you guys might be making a little bit of cash. You might not be. It is...
No. Technically, I'm working an illegal amount of hours.
Oh, God,
yes. If I didn't like own the company, what I would be doing would be absolutely illegal under state and federal law.
Oh, yeah. And that's the nice thing about it. It's kind of like, having your own kids work for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not... the line is gray. When you're the business owner, there is no line. You can work as much as you want. And that is both good and rough. Oh God, you guys have your own long live the OPA that's supported in your Discord. I love that.
Yes,
I love that.
I need an invite.
Brett Packard is asking, do purchases toward any of the non-OPA items help out with the OPA at all, or are the funds 100% segregated?
1%. So the funds are 100% segregated, and then we are donating 1% of all of our resin sales ongoing to the OPA. 1% of every single bag of resin we sell, we will put into the OPA fund.
I like that they're bags. They look cool. So what's the difference between the Vulcan, Standard, Release, Deluxe, and Hercules? What's the differences there?
Okay, so Vulcan Standard is 1.5 kg of our Vulcan resin, and it comes with 1 Atlas coin.
Okay.
Vulcan Release, same resin, 1.5 kg, comes with 5 coins. Vulcan Deluxe, same thing, except for it comes with 12 coins and then some special models that you can only get with Deluxe.
Okay.
And are the coins, can I exchange the coins for boards at some point, value-wise? Or
yes. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, again, and this is like, the team loves to give me shit about this. I'm an anthropologist. I'm building, from my perspective, my vision on what we're building is a literal community, and communities need currency. The basis of all society is shared acceptance of a currency. It's not language, it's actually currency. Currency comes and then language comes after. Atlas coin is the beginning of that. So yes, our goal is that by 2022, 2023, you will be able to use Atlas coins to buy models, paints, tutorials, printers, resins, anything and everything that has anything to do with 3D printing. If you want to commission an artist, you'll be able to go into the Atlas Coin Network. There will be Atlas employees and Atlas contractors who will work for Atlas Coin. We're working on finding retail partners and distributors who will accept Atlas coins in their own stores and say, hey,
we have been considering something like this where we start accepting crypto. But I told, that's all Justin and my brother. I look at crypto and NFTs, I'm like, It smells like tax evasion, but for some reason it's not.
It is. No, it's legal tax evasion. What we're doing right now, what my goals are with Atlas, we're going to put Atlas into a smart contract. And right now, no business has actually done that. And what will end up happening is that Atlas, for all of us as founders and as workers of Atlas, we will not receive wages. We will receive dividends from a smart
Dividends
contract.
are better. They're taxed differently.
They are indeed.
William, let's please talk about this more.
Justin, I swear to God, if you start getting in heavy into NFT shit again.
I want to work with you guys, and I want to connect you to some people who I know in that industry. I know lots of Web3 developers.
He actually does. He's 17, but the damn kid's a friggin' networker.
No. The guy who cracked the team who liberated the Mars is an 18-year-old and a guy who's in his mid-30s.
Yeah, age doesn't matter to me. I just think it's funny.
Mate, Justin, absolutely. Like, let's connect via Discord after this, and we actually need. I have some ideas and vision, but we need engineers and we need help building this shit.
Yeah,
the idea
I'm not a developer, but I kind of in the crypto space, but I kind of know how to explain. Like, if you have an idea, kind of take that idea and kind of help be that translation. So, I'll for sure we'll talk some more about that. And
Brian,
about the machines too. I want to help out with that if I can.
Brian Weber is asking regarding the resin bags if it's hard to pour the resin back in. I assume without a funnel it's gonna suck, but with a funnel it's probably fine.
We're gonna release funnels before November so that when people receive their bags, they'll have a printable STL that they can print out with their Vulcan resin and screw onto their bags. And then in the end state goal, honestly, I want to get us. We needed to get the resin moving first and get ourselves established with Amazon because of the rules they have about how much shit you can put into Amazon MCF.
Yep.
But our goal is to have stainless steel containers that we sell at cost to everybody who buys a Vulcan bag from us. And this is just for pure environmentalism. And for anybody who's listening, I am 95% confident that you are not properly disposing of your UV polymer resins and that you are sending out your bottles back to your landfills and you haven't properly cured the inside, and that UV polymer resin is absolutely fucking toxic to aqueous environments.
Hi, Florida here. Everything is aqueous here.
We have, and when I say we, I do literally mean everybody in the company. We talked about this when we decided if we wanted to do resin as a project. We do not want to be tobacco companies. We do not want to find out in 10 years that we brought products
Can I do
into
the safety videos?
You should. Yeah, I mean,
I love like talking about resin. Because nobody understands.
We still need to make our t-shirts about resin is toxic.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
Literally,
Coming soon.
Seriously, Will, on our YouTube channel, go find any video where I'm talking about resin, and it's in there. A lot.
Yep.
I am very serious about it. People, and I agree with you, people will throw out their bottles without curing the bottles. Not only do we cure our bottles, I cure the bottles with not just a 40-watt cob UV light. I have UV lasers that I use to make sure everything is cured. And then,
this is why we went with bags, because you can rip it open.
Yep.
And then just let it sit in your sunlight, and then you've actually cured. You've actually cured things, you know. Like
Captain Nico saying, Capri Sun.
No.
Can you please, like, as a joke, put a Capri Sun straw on it? That would be hilarious.
No. Somebody would try and drink it, and then we would get sued. We actually had
as a marketing picture. Never ship them with that, because people are morons. Don't do that.
People thought when we said models in the bag that there were actually models in the bag. It's like, no. We're just going to send you a digital coin. Come on. Like, it's liquid resin. We're not putting physical models in liquid resin. Come on now.
Yeah, you know, like even our wastewater, the mean green and the alcohol, I put into gallon bags and I put it outside. And I leave it outside for a week. Every couple of days I mix it and I move it around, and then we filter it. One of the upsides to being in the desert is, and using my 5-gallon bucket method, is I just take the lid off the bucket and I put it out in the front yard. And in about a week, at the bottom, I get about 5 or 6 inches of cured resin.
And because it desiccates, all I do then is flip the bucket upside down, bang it, and then out pops a fucking resin brick. And now my bucket's nice and clean. I fill that bucket with another 5 gallons of denatured alcohol or whatever I happen to be using, and I'm off to the races.
Yeah, that's why it's good to use something you can just evaporate away and not have to worry about it
agree.
You're not really dumping anything. So
Yeah,
the Hercules is a more durable resin. Is it different?
Yes. So Hercules is substantially different. It is so Vulcan is what we call the daily driver resin internally. We were looking to make a bog standard resin and then make some slight improvements on it, bundle it with models and put it into a bag for cost savings that we would then pass on to the consumer.
Yeah.
So Vulcan is a little bit better than Elegoo, takes a little bit longer to cure, and it's good to go. Hercules, we looked at TGM7 because we have a lot of people who use it. It's from Amerilabs, and it is fantastic resin. It's very flexible. It's very durable, but it's an ass pain for us to support. We have to make special supports to work with Amerilabs. Our regular supports don't work. They do work, but we get more banding and layer shifting, and this is a function of flexible resins. And it's actually because on the layer that's curing, that's stuck to your FEP, when it peels up with the flexible resins, you get more elongation and distortion. So you have to have heavier supports for that thin single layer.
Even further, if you're doing a nice flat part too, you got to support the crap out of that. Otherwise, it's going to start cupping.
Yes. Hercules, by contrast, it is flexible, but it's actually more thought of as like a durable. Think of it more like rubber.
Yeah.
So like tenacious?
It's less. Well, so I printed with Tenacious. If you print with Tenacious straight, I think Tenacious straight.
I just dope all my resins with it.
It's still so. The thing is that like ideally, actually, if you wanted to think about what Hercules is, it's like the gold standard 3% blue with like 6% Tenacious with like your standard resin. It's that without having to mix.
Got it.
So it takes a hard edge because that was like key for us is that you still need to take that hard edge or your minis don't look very good. You don't get that nice sharp contrast.
Yep.
But we wanted a little bit of flex and a fair amount of impact resistance.
And that's also like an engineering grade resin.
Yes.
Well, not only that, but it makes support removal so much easier. I cannot describe how much I hate when I forget to dope my resin and I print with it. I'm like, shit. Now I got to go get the clippers rather than just peeling it off.
Yep.
People don't realize that raw, normal resin from like Elegoo or Anycubic or whomever is generally terrible, and you should be doping your resin. We're planning a video, but that video is so tough to film because unless I'm using like lab grade equipment to like figure out the exact percentage, who the hell knows?
You can do it by weight.
You can do it by weight.
That's my man. That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
You can. But then how do you ensure that what you're printing with has the right mixture as well? You kind of have to guess.
Into a 5-gallon bottle. No. So before I got into 3D printing, I made my own e-liquids for vaping.
Yep.
And it's just batch control. It's just quality control. So if you know that you're always going to run with a certain doped mixture, what you do is you just make 5 gallons of that in a go. And then you pull off that 5-gallon mixture to fill your vats. You don't mix for each vat.
I don't know about you, but I don't got 5-gallon worth of resin money, but I do appreciate the thought.
You could do.
Well, so our partner 3D Resin Solutions has an option for you then. Their new Sidekick, it's 250 milligrams of flex additive. It's designed to be added to exactly 1 kilo of cheap Chinese shit and turn it into high quality resin. And it comes in a bag. I think he's charging like $10 or $15. It's almost nothing. It's practically free.
I will say though, because I've got a bunch of this is monoprice resin. It's in stainless steel or aluminum containers. I only have this stuff because it was $6 for 500 mils. I have never printed in black resin before, but I've got 1.5 liters of it, and one, no one orders black parts, but 2, I don't want to deal with doping this. I don't know. I figure when Brad comes and gets one of the broken Marses in his screen, I'll just give him some of this to mess with. But
Monocure resin was one of them. I have not had the best of luck with that particular brand of resin.
That's monoprice, not monocure.
Doesn't make it any better. Either way, monocure or monoprice, I haven't had good luck with.
Yeah, Soraya Tech
so maybe
has
not start
always
Brad
been a
with that.
good one. I would love. I gotta get some of your resin at some point so I can. Because
I'll ship you some. It's
Okay.
not a problem. I'll ship you some.
well, I want to pay for it. Because
Sure.
or let me buy Atlas coins or something to pay for it. I don't know. I don't know how that shit works, but yeah. Brian is asking, what is the shelf life for? And I want
Standard
to.
1 year.
It's 1 year.
Standard 1 year. Yeah, I mean, technically you can go longer than that, but it's generally good to think with all of your.
A lot
so
of
what
my
happens
resins
is,
are older than that.
yeah. So what happens actually is your photopolymers start breaking down. It's not that they start breaking down; it's that they are reactive, and it's not just to sunlight. The photopolymers are reactive to free radicals. So the moment you crack a ball, actually, technically, the moment the resin gets made, it starts reacting with the free radicals in the air. And if you seal it in a container, yeah, you're going to reduce the amount of reaction that occurs.
But you got to suck the oxygen out.
Yes.
That's cool. I did not know that.
Treat it like wine.
So if the bottle's been closed, sealed, never opened, effectively indefinite or no?
No, not indefinite. It does have. I mean, you are going to over time. It is going to break down, as I understand it.
That black resin's probably crap. Then I will start using it to fill gaps in prints.
I wonder if you could just do like the what they do for like paint and do like the argon. What gas do they use? The argon. Yeah,
it's argon. Yeah, it's like wine. It's the same thing with wine. If you add argon to it, that will extend the life of it. But realistically, you should just treat it at a year. And then what happens is that it just starts taking progressively longer to expose. And then what will really happen is you'll have variance across your vat. So in any given unit volume, you'll have less or more reactive photopolymers. So you might on one model have over and under exposure on the same damn model because of the photo initiator being relatively weaker or stronger over any given unit volume.
It's almost like for film.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
When you shoot with film, that if it's expired film, you can get over and underexposed parts of the photo because of the reaction with the air and whatnot after a while, because nothing's perfectly sealed.
Yes, and that is definitely the case with photopolymer resins.
Noted.
And then heat. If you don't know this, your photopolymer resins will cure in the presence of heat. Like I learned this the hard way. I had left some vats in the back of my car, and I went to get them, and they were in the trunk, so they were not exposed to UV.
Right.
But those vats are now ruined because I had resin cure all on the inside of them.
Well, that's almost like how carbon does their curing. They
Carbon
do
3D.
Carbon, yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to make sure that people weren't thinking like the atom carbon.
No. They have like the super fast printing and can do, I mean,
it's
builds in 10 minutes.
Oxygen-permeable membranes is what they use.
Yeah,
they're doing like sub 1/10 of 1 second layers, basically.
Yeah. But then they go and cure it afterwards in heat and or light, depending on properties that you need.
What do you say, Will?
There was a company out of Michigan that was doing those high area harp printing, high area rapid prototyping.
Okay.
And it has so it doesn't have a normal FEP. It's got an oil layer, and then the resin sits on top of the oil, and then it just consistently pulls straight out. There's no retraction motion. It just pulls straight out of the oil.
That's cool.
It's very similar.
Similar to carbon.
The problem with carbon printers is that they are $40,000 a year minimum. You cannot buy them. You must rent them. And
unless you're university.
Unless you're university. And that's why you should take your resin printers, put Athena boards in them so you can unlock their potential and be able to use it. Now, I am curious. What are you expecting these Athena boards to cost? To the consumer.
Well,
to the consumer. And use and pricing. Because, I mean, let's be real here. People are going to buy these for their Elegoo Mars 3s. Mars 3s are $300. How much more are we talking are they going to have to spend to get to a point where they have an open source board in their printer?
I want to be real careful so that I don't overpromise and not be able to deliver. I would say, and I apologize.
Numbers is fine.
Within 10% of a Chitu board. I would say is our aim right now, and that is
What's
a
Chitu
realistic
board
thing.
cost? I have no
Yeah, we
clue.
they don't have numbers.
Yeah.
Well, so the thing is, you can go and buy a Chitu motherboard replacement, and depending on which kind of motherboard you're looking to replace,
Okay.
you're looking at somewhere between $70 and $150, depending on the motherboard that you purchase.
Oh,
Okay.
that's not
I would
bad.
say that the Athena Lite and the Athena flagship board will have very different prices, and the flagship board will be much more expensive
Of course.
than the Athena Lite board, which is designed to be the drop-in replacement.
I mean, I sure as hell
And-
hope it's more expensive. It better be.
Yeah, I mean, that looks like it's a big board and
It is.
lots
It's a
of
very
stuff
large-
on
All
it.
right, Captain Nico is in the comments giving us the answers now. So
Thank
he's
you,
saying
Nico. I
light-
didn't want to overspeak, baby.
yeah, light
Wow.
hopefully under $100, including the CM Force. That's including the Pi.
Yes.
That is, yeah, that's, and I mean, with how you can't even get Pi Zeros anymore, that's pretty
I mean, and that
amazing price wise. If you
that's
can get
stupid.
those boards under 100 plus a Pi, because the Pi's at least 35, and that's with the 1 gig RAM, no eMMC on board.
And
And
when we look at
that-
this, you're gonna get a printer that is bigger than a Mars. The Mars 3 is bigger. It's the in between, because I don't know. For $400, give or take, at the end of the day, shit. I don't know, man. That's a friggin' amazing deal. That's
If people want that to happen, straight up, we need your help right now. The audience, we've so far, we committed $10,000. That's not enough. The audience so far we've raised about $4,000, which we've already sent to Nico to buy prototypes and to keep moving this forward. But if we're gonna make this work, we need to raise more money because we need to do more development to be able to manufacture these things, and that's why
how
We're
much
just about
money are
done.
you looking to raise?
between now and November, we need to raise about another $10,000 to $20,000, and then after November, I mean, that really just depends. If the
What
audience,
about doing a Kickstarter for these boards? Are you planning on doing that?
we are.
Okay.
Yes, so the plan, again, please nobody hold this to me hard and fast. Our goal right now.
No, everything you say here is in stone. You cannot change
I
anything.
know, right?
You are impossible to change. No, you're
The
fine.
goal right now, because we've got Nico got the first 5 boards out to the various partners. The prototype boards are out. Mango has their board. They're playing with it. The goal is to have another 20 boards made and sent out between now and the end of September. From September to October, we're doing, more development, finalizing the development on the light board. And then in October, November, we're going to hold a Kickstarter to buy these boards and tentatively some printers that are, some proof of concept printers that have the Athena boards inside. We're angling to have a standard 6-inch 4K printer and a larger medium format printer. Those are aspirational right now. There's a lot of work that we still have to be able to do to even really contemplate that.
Why do
The
you want to do the
boards,
small
though,
one?
So realistically, and again, this is just consumer behavior.
More mass market?
$399 is the magic price point for most American consumers to consider buying a durable console-like good. You get much beyond $399, and it changes the consumer behavior pattern. $500 is your top end, and that's why, if you look at the closest analogy here is to look at PS5, PlayStation versus Xbox. On a relative pricing basis, every time one of the consoles exceeds $500, the other console does better that cycle.
Yep.
So the Saturns, even though they are an amazing deal, are the top end as far as you're going to go and hit a mainstream audience. And there are plenty of kit printers that sell a couple hundred to a couple thousand units a year, and that's not enough. That doesn't change Chitubox. They just fucking laugh at you. We need to move 10,000 printers. So why are we going to have a small option? Because we need to try and hit $400 to $500 tops to get that printer into people's hands with shipping.
You're right, and I think you
mean-
could do that via Kickstarter. Just eat some crow a little bit on 50 or 100, similar to what Elegoo is doing. You eat crow on a few, so you can build up that brand. But the Photon Mono X sits at $600 to $700 all day long, and people buy it. The part of me thinks that yes, there are going to be people that look at the price and say, "Oh, I'm just going to go buy an Elegoo." Okay, they're going to be the ones that take up all your damn technical support staff time, whereas somebody like
Well,
me,
they're
a
gonna end up
business
buying
owner.
one of his boards, and then he's gonna still make the money either way.
Well,
Like,
yeah, I mean, just expect your Discord to get crazy. But you know, I look at my Saturns. I say, all right, if I have a problem with this, I am understanding that at $500, if something goes wrong, I'm gonna deal with it on my own. I'm gonna go to the Facebook. I hate Facebook, but I'll go to the Discords. You know, and I'll ask there. Maybe I'll go to Reddit. If all else fails, I'll go to Facebook. Good Lord have mercy. And get help from the community, because there's likely somebody that knows more than I do. But when it comes to something that's come from a small company, for some reason people just have an expectation that I think is unreasonable when it comes to getting that support. Like, they want to make a phone call, they want Will to answer the damn phone, and it needs to be done right friggin' now. And that's tough.
Yes.
Oh, hey, Miniocalypse, thanks for the $5 super chat. He said, just wanted to say huge thank you to Atlas 3D. These guys are true innovators and love this community. Thank you so much for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it, man.
We love Minnie. He's awesome. He's been with us for a while now. It was funny is actually, Minnie is somebody who, he had some trouble with our supports, actually. It caused a bit of a print problem for him. And then we became best friends, basically doing troubleshooting, and now he's an active member of our community and does a lot of painting and such. Love that guy. He's just awesome.
I'm for sure gonna hang out in there, and I want to learn more about what you guys are doing, like with the support generation as well, because I'm not really into the games, but like one of my teachers, I printed 2 huge dice towers the past 2 days. They were 26 hour prints.
They were
each.
huge. I got one of the files. They were massive.
And I've never seen those type of prints, because most of the stuff I print is something more like technical, but seeing these really amazing models, like, I just want these to come. I want some to sit around on my desk. Like, they're really amazing, and
there's nothing like resin. There's seriously nothing like resin. You know, I have to agree with Minnie here. You know, it's good to be getting back to things, and it's good to be doing good things. And I think you guys, yeah, okay, at the end of the day, what is the business's main goal? It's to make money. But your second goal, which I think is damn near, quite frankly, it's probably more than making money. Welcome to small business. But it is to help the community. And, you know, you were doing this before the community found itself caught with its pants down. And now the community is like, help us, help us. And I didn't know you guys existed. It's probably because I don't look at Kickstarters, because I don't know. I can name and shame, God knows, a dozen companies that screwed plenty of people because they didn't understand economies of scale. But it seems like because your team is so diverse in both, you know, background and literally location, you're bringing a lot of big players to the table that all together have amazing, not just business acumen, engineering acumen, but even further, marketing and sales. And, you know, being able to work with Lychee on this, as far as I'm concerned, one of the biggest powerhouses in terms of resin slicing, just really adds that level of clout is not the right word, but validation, right? It's you've got a company that's well known in the industry that is backing you, and so you're like instantly got that street cred, and you don't have to fight. Whereas if you went to Kickstarter with a brand new resin 3D printer, you're gonna be compared to Elegoo and Anycubic. You're gonna be then compared to the Olo Kickstarter that was a failure. But if you go there backed by Mango 3D, you know that this all comes with Mango OS and all that, you got that street cred that not a lot of other people can say they have, and it instantly adds that validation. So like when I think it was you, Will, that reached out to me, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to get you guys on here because there is more to this than any of us understand. You guys are truly bringing together a community of people that are fed up, they're tired of being controlled, and so much more to solve a problem. I had somebody comment, I think it was on Facebook or maybe it was on Instagram. Facebook and Instagram notify me through the Facebook app because, you know, I hate myself. Saying, oh, you silly Americans, as soon as a Chinese company innovates, you get upset. No, this is not innovation. This is taking your ball, going home, and being pissed off. And now we're saying, hell no. They say he's got to go. Get rid of Chitubox. Yes, that's a Godzilla reference, but that's all right. Little Blue Oyster Cult for your day. Justin, you're too young to know that. It's okay. I don't blame you. And you know, Brian Weber says this is history in the making. I agree. This is absolutely history in the making. As long as you guys can actually deliver, because good Lord have mercy.
Well, so you know, this is why we've been very deliberate about what we say, and we're trying to make sure that we temper expectations. We believe that we can do this. I have absolute faith in Captain Nico and Pascal from PK Electronics. I've talked a lot with the both of them. They've showed me their designs. They've talked with us about their passion for 3D printing and for doing this. And they have the pedigree. And then again, for us with Mango, we've just worked so tightly with them over the last year that I trust those guys implicitly. And I mean, if they tell me they can do it, I fucking believe them. I know that they can. And all of us are committed to not making money, but to doing something that's actually better for the community. I believe the future is partnerships between like-minded small businesses and companies. It's not large multinationals. It's multinational partnerships. You know, that is what I think the most innovative and dynamic groups are going to come from. You know, Google stopped innovating and it started buying. Microsoft buys its innovation. Yeah, everybody buys their innovation once they get to a certain level because they have to. They get too big. They can't really think. We want to try and build a network structure right here at the beginning that won't have that problem in 5 years, because it's going to always be a series of interlocking partnerships. No one mega party. It's everybody who's doing their passion. If you know your passion is hardware engineering, we want to find a way for you to be able to do that and feel empowered. If it's software, it's whatever it happens to be. That is what we're trying to do with our alliance-like structure of bringing in. So like our creators right now in Patreon, if you are a 3D sculptor, there are two paths. You either run your own Patreon, which is high risk, high reward, lots of work. People like Mini Monster Mayhem, Lee Strasberg, he's a one-man band. He's fucking amazing. Churns out a shitload of content all on his own. One Page Rules, by contrast, or Archvillain Games, or Titan Forge. Those are like studios. They're larger. They're a collection of people.
Yeah,
but the artists. Go ahead.
These larger studios can afford the budgets that the smaller guys don't, and ultimately, do they make nicer models? Depends on what you consider nicer, but it's like I am a capitalist at heart, but there's a part of me, I'm a philanthropist, right? I want everybody to succeed that is willing to put in the effort. I believe that certain things that go on in people's lives should not dictate whether or not they succeed. Like my back injury has incredibly hurt our company. I mean, we are not profitable this year, and because of the pandemic, we lost a $200,000 contract. And it sucked. I worked 16 months to get that contract. I signed it in February. It was null and voided in May. I don't want to talk about it. It was real bad.
Sorry.
Like they're just 2020 was a rough year, and that was also I hurt my back. Keep holding. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep holding.
It's been a great conversation so far. I hope you guys are having fun.
Okay, I think we're back. Yep, I think we're back. Okay, I'm back! All right, I'm back! All right, I'm back. Sorry. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why you do not put auto end on your streams for YouTube, because it would have killed the stream at that point. Hi, I'm back. Yeah, my internet kind of sucks. Now Justin and Will aren't in the same damn place.
It's okay.
Justin...
I'm here.
Yeah, but you guys are moved. Can I...
Oh, okay.
I'm Will now.
Yeah, you're Will now. It's not letting me reorder people. Why is it not letting me reorder people? Whatever. I'll change the names on
It's
you.
all good.
Where I could still hear you guys when you couldn't hear me, which was kind of hilarious. But I feel like Will, we were kind of on this of people will fail for reasons that are not up to them, and it seems like you guys have a lot moving for you in that right direction.
It's been a wild ride. We're less than a year old, and I mean, so I was talking about the history of Atlas. Atlas legally as an entity comes into existence November 11th, 2020. So I mean, Vroom, the idea of Vroom, that you can go fast, that doesn't come into existence until December. This is something that gets discovered in our community, and we start shouting about it. And then 6 months later, we've got a resin that says Vroom tested, Atlas approved on it. So yes, we are moving very fast.
And I've only recently started messing around with Vroom. It's kind of nuts.
I got to tell you too, and sorry team, because you're hearing me say it, as an anthro guy, making a word, it's like winning a Golden Globe for me. Whenever I see somebody use the word Vroom, I can't help but smile, because it's a made-up word that didn't exist a year ago. And
Mazda would disagree with you.
That's fair.
There's Zoom
in
Zoom
the
though.
context of resin 3D printing.
Oh, there's Zoom, not Vroom. You're right. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. That's fair.
It pleases me to no end.
I mean, I dig it. Like, I know Uncle Jesse did a video all about Vroom, right? He's done a few.
He did. It was huge for us.
What licensing are you gonna be releasing the board under? I didn't get to ask that. I
A CERN strong license, SEREN. It's the CERN license, the CERN open license, and then we're leaning very strongly towards the strong version.
Okay.
So basically, what we want to do is just make it so that, and again, just to stress things, everything right now is in draft, because we want to talk with the community and make sure that the community agrees with the bylaws that we want to set up this open source foundation with. Our goal with all of this is that everybody who backs the OPA, everyone, will have the ability to have a say in what the OPA does.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we're sharing the draft bylaws now and trying to come up with the right language that will allow us to have a voted on community representative that has the same ability to influence the direction of the OPA as, say, Elegoo or any of the other larger industry partners that we hope to get on board.
Are you going to do that with staking and whatnot? That would be really cool with the crypto coin.
I have to be really careful with how I frame that. So the OPA coins, no, that is just literally if you back the OPA.
Okay, but Atlas,
Atlas
later down the
coins
line,
staking,
possibly.
Well, so the Atlas coins in staking, yes. The way that okay, I don't want to get into the weeds. Josh told me not to get into the weeds on this.
You clearly don't know this podcast. That's all we do is we don't just go into the weeds. We go off into the random road to 2 blocks over and tangent for hours. Justin knows this. It's a thing.
We've had education we want to talk about education. I don't think we talked about education for more than 5 minutes on a 2.5-hour podcast.
What about were you on the one where I had Cole? No, it was just me and Cole. When I had an educator, like a college teacher, who we were just kind of talking about. Yeah, we've seen 3D printers in space, we've seen 3D printing upside down and sideways, but no one's ever seen what happens if you 3D print in a centrifuge under heavy gravity, heavy G loads. He's like, I can make that a senior project. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. So I said, at 10,000 subscribers, we will put a printer inside of a centrifuge, because we will build the centrifuge to do it. I'm like, that'd be
just to see what happens.
Yeah, we could do it with a resin printer, but we just have to have a mechanism that starts it here, and then as the G-force goes up, the resin printer can go sideways. Otherwise, all the resin's gonna slosh to run to one side.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard.
Resin would be really hard to do, and would make a mess and be very dangerous mess.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would recommend putting a resin printer in a centrifuge.
I got 2 acres of land. I'm just saying.
But
you'd have to do some real advanced math to figure out your acceleration curve. Because if your acceleration curve was wrong, you're going to throw resin fucking everywhere.
What if you had the printer hanging on a point, and the printer was on a plate, and that point was up high, so as the G's would go, the printer would just naturally come out? I don't know. Anyways,
yeah, but
things
the way
that don't matter.
Simulate...
Well, that's yeah.
So with the way that the crypto, the way that we're planning this to work, for people who don't know, there are mineable and there are mintable tokens that you can generate with crypto. This will be a series of 4 interlocking smart contracts, the primary of which is run with Atlas Coin's non-token. The Atlas coin, not the thing that you have currently received if you've received a quote Atlas coin, that coin is stakeable. When staked, that coin generates tokens. Those tokens can then be used to purchase models, resins, etc. Atlas coins are also used to sign and initialize contracts for NFTs. Okay. Those NFTs are how we will be able to authenticate whether or not a given user has title to a given model.
Yeah. My question about the staking is because with some of these different blockchains, you're able to like Tezos, for example, when you stake, you put it into a certain pool that then you have different, like, depending on which pool you want to put your staking into, they can ask that they have different powers on, let's say, I want to adjust the board and have that. So would that be a possibility? Like the more you own of it, the more you'd have power, or how would you kind of flatten that?
The way that we would flatten that is one person, one vote.
Okay. Yeah.
With regards to the community thing, we don't. My main thing is that I've worked in nonprofits and in basically these kinds of organizations at the government level.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, I've seen the community rights or the community activist person who's supposed to be there get taken over by money or by special interests. Yeah. And my goal is to ensure that that is not possible. And that's why we don't currently have the explicit rules on how we're going to do the voting structures in the draft bylaws, because this is the kind of thing that has to be done just so. Otherwise, I could anticipate bad actors being able to game the system and then take advantage.
Yep. Yeah, I can't wait to learn more on what's going to come out of that space and 3D printing, because I really want to see crypto and 3D printing cross, and I know it really can. And I love what you guys are doing with it.
The thing from Nico is when he showed us how the force sensor was going to work, what that will do, and it's very important for crypto, is proof of provenance. So you smiled, you know exactly where I'm going with this. So what we're going to do is that in our farms, in our factories, and in our manufacturing facilities, when a bag of resin is bagged, it'll be scanned and a coin will be generated. When a machine is made and scanned, a coin or series of coins will be generated. When a model is printed and validated as having been printed perfectly by the force sensor, because that's what it does, that will update to the cloud or to the chain, so that we can say model X was printed at time Y at location Z as validated by the force sensor. So now wallet D will be funded to a tune of amount E, so will wallet F, so will wallet G. And each of those wallets will correspond to the sculptor, the 2D concept artist, the distributor, and us. That's my goal, is that every single person in the chain gets paid. Because right now, the 2D concept artist, if I make this model, if I'm a 2D concept artist and I draw the drawing that turns into this model, and this model sells a million units, I get the $50 to $100 that I got paid to make that drawing. I think that's wrong. The same thing with the sculptor. If I'm a sculptor and I make a giant ass thing and it gets really big, unless I'm a one-man band, I'm not taking that money home. Yep. We want to make it so that if it goes big, everybody gets paid. Everybody. Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, I need to introduce you to Rob.
Oh, thanks.
Because he has
Rob
a couple.
That we know, or different?
Yeah,
Rob?
he has a couple patents in this area. So
that would be fantastic.
He has something called smart parts, which is almost what you're saying. A little different. I don't know how much I'm supposed to say online. We'll talk more. There's a lot that can go on in this industry, and I'm really excited for it.
Now imagine this for a minute. So this is another thing that's made possible because of the Athena board. It has an extra USB port on it. Our plan is to include an internal 1 terabyte hard drive. And on that hard drive, in the same way as your Microsoft Games Pass allows you to have full access to all of your games, we want to put all of the models on the hard drive. And then every month, the hard drive auto updates. We'll take care of that. So there's no more worrying. Did I download the right file? It's already on your fucking printer.
There's a company that's doing that with games right now. And they're making a little handheld device. I can't think of the name. Playground. I'll find it. And you get new games every month. But they're all indie games. So it's
how do you deal with DRM control? Oh, I guess it's kind of the same way that you do it now. You just kind of assume that people aren't.
I wonder if you guys should add onto the board not encryption chip. I can't think of the name of the exact chip, but it's a rolling security key, pretty much. So then you can not to encrypt, but so then you can verify back to the chain that it was that device printing it. But that's a whole nother tangent.
Well, basically, I actually think you can do that in software on the hard drive that you plug in through the USB, and then you use a network. So ideally what would happen is the IMEI, because they have Wi-Fi, so they'll have a MAC address and an IMEI, and we'll use that and associate that with a user account. So when you basically the same way when you log into your PlayStation or you log into your Xbox, and then they associate that physical machine with your account. Our goal is to do something similar, and then to create a space on the hard drive that any artist can decide, just like on a Kindle. Like there are some publishers who put their books on Kindle completely unencrypted, and you can just rip them right off the Kindle.
EPUB. Yeah.
And some publishers prefer to have encryption on their EPUBs, and it is up to the individual publisher and creator what they want to do.
Yeah.
We want to create a similar environment where creators can say they can have the decision of how much or how little protection they want over their IP. Right now, they have no protection. The moment you release an STL into the wild, it's on the piracy websites.
Yep.
Of course.
Find it on Thingiverse tomorrow.
Exactly. If we put it on the machine, yes, somebody can take apart the machine, they can pull out the hard drive, and they can pull the files off if they really wanted to. But most people won't. I have said for years that piracy is the free market solution to corporate fuckery. If you have piracy, you have a corporate fuckery problem. You don't have a piracy problem, you have a pricing problem. You're either not delivering on price to your consumers, or you're not delivering on the customer experience. Because piracy, I don't want to pirate things. If I can easily purchase it at a fair rate, I do. And this isn't just me, this is all pirates. And that's why pirates pay more money in content than non-pirates. It's been measured across all countries.
It's reconnected. Oh my gosh. I hate internet. I have to start recording again in here.
Recording in progress.
Oh my gosh. I never have internet problems until I am trying to live stream to people, and it all goes down.
Murphy's Law.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we were at 16 people right when the stream died, and there's 4 or 5 people hanging out. So, thank you if you hung out. I guess should we tell people the stream is back up? I guess we probably should.
Yeah.
As soon as the stream went down, I hit ad break, and I'm like, all right, maybe by the time the ad is done, my internet will have figured itself out.
You can do ad breaks on YouTube like that?
I can, yeah. I can tell people when ads show up.
What happens if you have an ad blocker YouTube Premium? It's just us sitting here waiting.
I don't know. I don't know how it works. I've never watched my own live stream as I'm streaming. That just seems a little weird.
You don't have it up to the chat?
No. No, God no. That would hurt.
How do you see the?
That would hurt my poor computer.
How do you see the chat then?
I have us paused. I have us paused.
Oh, okay.
I have us paused.
Brett just gave us a $10 super chat for funds for some more reliable internet.
I can't see that. Oh, I probably have to refresh my side of the stream. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Unfortunately, that's not up to me. I have been trying, and here's the fun thing. Brett. Thank you, Mr. Brett Packard, for that $10 super chat. That's greatly appreciated. I live in the middle of nowhere, Florida. I live in Pasco County, Florida. Yes, where Live PD is filmed. That's basically the only reason you should know Pasco County, Florida. And
that's why that sounds so familiar to me now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And all we have out here is Spectrum, which is Charter. We got a quote from them to put in fiber. It would be $500 a month for 50 by 50 if we signed a 3-year guarantee contract.
I mean, that's the same though for me. That would be the exact same and it would be probably more expensive to run a fiber line where I am.
I don't know, man.
We have fiber to the neighborhood, so we have 400 up, 40 down, 400 down, 40 up. So it's, I think same as what Grant has, because they won't run fiber to the houses yet, or probably will never, because cable.
No,
Okay,
it'll
so
be
they're
5G.
saying they
It'll
never
make
got
more
an
sense
ad
to-
break. Should I just insert an ad and see what happens? All right, yeah, I'm gonna insert an ad. Ad inserted, it says. We're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, add in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I just got an ad break on my YouTube.
Okay, so it does work. That's kind of cool. I didn't know that I could do that. I just found the
But
button
it was
today.
skippable. It was skippable.
Oh, that's okay. Most of them should be skippable ads. But yes, Brett, it is terrible, and I am considering doing Starlink as a secondary internet.
It's faster than your primary.
Here's the
though.
issue, right? We're content creators. It's 400 by 20. So the down is great, but the 20 up is the problem. We can't film in 4K right now because our editors are not remote. Or they are remote. They're not local. So I have to upload all that data, which sucks. Brett Packard
Brett, you
says,
suck.
lucky to be living in an apartment in Seattle, gig fiber into the dwelling. I both love and hate you. Thanks for being you.
Yeah. That's
We're-
funny. No one else got ads, but I'm a mod on the channel and I got the ad. That's
You
really
all
funny.
probably have ad blockers. How do you think we pay for these videos? It's not from YouTube ad revenue. I don't want it is against to talk about how much money we make, but yeah, we don't. It's not a lot of money.
It really sucks because it's all in a like pretty much a duopoly. Really, what it's at. There's like 2 or 3 companies, and it's not.
I called them
great.
out saying that they have an oligopoly. They said, no, you
Yeah.
can get DSL. I promptly hung up the phone. Like, that's bullshit. We
Like-
can go up to one higher tier. My brother's wrong. We can get 1,000 by 35, so they call it gig, but it's only 35 up. And that is $175 a month.
Yeah, I think I can do that too, but I've never even gotten close to saturating my downlink.
Oh, yeah. I
Except-
never saturate down.
Yeah, because no one's uploading at that speed, even so. It's just
No, it felt like, so out here in Pahrump, we were supposed to get fiber where I am, but the local municipal power company, the 2 people who were running it, embezzled most of the money. Now, they went to jail, but they had already spent the money. So the fiber got like into town, but I'm on the outskirts of town at the airport. And so yeah, the fiber never got to me. And I asked him, like, well, how much for me to get you guys to just come the last bit up? You know, I'll pay for it.
Last
Literally, like,
mile,
well,
yep.
15 grand.
Yeah, that's basically what they quoted us too, and they said that, you know, you could either pay it all up front, or we would amortize it out in a 3-year guaranteed contract. But there's part of me that says I could put a business line into the house as well. So I have two separate lines. So, and I don't know if this is possible, but I feel like maybe it is. Have like a laptop connected to one side, the desktop to the other, and I can, you know, basically double my up. But then I'm still paying $150 a month. I would go do Starlink because it's cool. It's not faster, but it's cool. And eventually I think it will be faster.
yes.
Yeah, it
once
might be-
the peer-to-peer, once the satellite-to-satellite communication works.
Yeah.
Because right now
Well, so you
every
meant-
single one is going up and down, up and down. They're not talking to each other yet,
Right.
Except-
right.
except translation, but no data is being moved.
For your remote guys, you should just go old school sneakernet and buy up a bunch of hard drives, throw your data on the hard drive, and
Yeah,
just mail it.
We've talked about that, which is what we were going to do. But we can't trust the the postal service to not lose it, and we won't know if they lose it until a couple of days that it's late, and at that point I might as well just let it upload overnight. So
Fair.
yeah. Oh, and yes, Brian and Julie are both YouTube Premium. We appreciate your guys' support. If you don't watch the channel Spiffing Brit, he's awesome. He just put out a thing all about how YouTube Premium and live streams are broken. The more live streams you watch for a creator and the longer that you watch for that creator, the more money they get. It's kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, this whole content creation thing, I mean, I never saw this coming. I never thought that we would have a YouTube channel. We started in March, like straight up.
Nice.
Took it seriously in March. Justin, were you a part of the company when Cricket hit?
Yeah.
So you started before Cricket?
I started in like January.
Okay. And like all of a sudden, we had to build a team of editors, copywriters, social media people overnight.
Yeah.
Overnight. And it has been a bit of a disaster because, when you don't have time to train people, it tends to start to get rough. But it's been fun because, well, we get to talk to people all over the world. And I don't know, like people like Allison and AE, they've emailed us, and like I have actual conversations with them. A guy called me, found us from Billy Rubin's podcast. I was a guest on Billy Rubin's podcast. He's like, I figured I would just call the phone. It's so cool that you answered. And I'm like kind of a celebrity. I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool, But like, I'm able to help this guy. He's got a legitimate idea and he wanted help with it. And he's like, I feel like you're the right person to talk to. I said, I don't know if I am, but we can talk.
Yeah.
And for us to like positively impact people, this is my way of giving back, because we're not in a financial position to give back right now. Shit, we're not profitable right now. So if I can give back by making cool videos, by helping people, and by inspiring people to go out there, do better, that's what I want to do. And so like when I heard that you guys were doing this with the Athena board and everything about Atlas and then the coins, I'm like, nah, I gotta get you on this podcast, because there's so much to this that is kind of beyond the surface level. You're doing some cool shit, but when I heard about your philanthropy, I'm like, oh, you're doing a B Corp. But no, you're going to do a full 501c3. So.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, well, so if you think about the incentives that go into the development of things, there's a lot of money that goes into the development of custom hardware to solve problems.
There is.
And generally, when a company invests in that kind of research, most of it fails. So it's a huge upfront cost. So when they finally do get something that works, they want to protect the shit out of it. That creates all sorts of barriers, natural and otherwise, to innovation in that space. If we just tried to take money in and not create this third-party entity that was not profit-oriented, our concern is that people would be afraid we were just going to be, we would just become another MakerBot or another one of those companies that starts out friendly and then turns into fucking fuckery.
Yep.
So
it happens quickly too.
Exactly. So our logic was, okay, let's start right from the beginning with, let's just push it all into this other entity, and we'll just be the first party that licenses from that entity, because Atlas wants to have its own printers. It wants to make those things as an entity. That's the thing we want to do as a team. If we can be the first party that does that through the OPA to show to the rest of the world, here's a different way to do business. Here's a way for the community that says it wants open systems. Here's an open way for them to fund it. Here's a way for you as manufacturers to not be worried. You don't need to spend $200,000, $300,000 a year now doing R&D. You can pay your annual dues to the OPA and know that the OPA will hire developers and will partner with passionate, competent people and generate low-cost designs for you to run through your factories, or for you to buy from our various partners who are making the boards themselves. At a high level, that's the goal. I really think that in an environment, in a 3D printing environment where that's at its heart, we're going to have so much more innovation and so much more growth from people we don't even fucking know of yet.
Yeah.
The 18 to 22-year-old who's in a school somewhere who's got a great idea, we want to have a framework that allows them to say, awesome, here's my idea. Let me get it funded. Let me build it and get it out to the audience, and not worry that some big corporate's just going to take it and make billions and screw me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's aspirational, but that's what we hope to do.
So, curious, why open source it? And I before we go too far into that, I want to talk about something. We've had a few patent and trademark copyright attorneys on the podcast. These were back in January. These were a while ago. David Stein is the one that I'm referencing. He talked about where you could, and I think Tom Sandletter has talked about it too, where it is closed source, but it is licensed at effectively free, but you control who gets to license it, so you control effectively who gets to copy you. I guess I have a concern here that Chitubox, Chitu Board, ChituSystems is going to copy you and just try to eat the market share again. And, how do you think that's going to fare?
Yeah, and
Good.
No, I just think we could do like the way that Tesla does it, and they patented all their stuff, and then they say we'll open source it to you, like that's that way, or you can go completely just open source from the start. But
if you look at the CERN licensing structure,
Mm-hmm.
its requirements in order to use anything that's part of it are very much like that, where you can't just use the license doesn't give you the ability to just make innovations and derivations on that design and not give it back into the group. At the end of the day, whether it's ChituSystems or really any other competitor, they are going to try and copy successful things no matter what. This is just a truism. You're going to either spend money trying to stop it, or, and I think this is the more viable solution, just license things at fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory rates.
Exactly.
So that there's no incentive to. So, when you say why open source it, why do it this way? I am a no bullshit copymist. Most people are going to need to look that up. Kopimist. I fundamentally believe in sharing data. That by sharing information and creating larger groups of people who are engaging in thought and trying to solve the problem, you're gonna come up with better, more robust solutions. And there are risks to that. Bad actors will try and take advantage of you. And I am an American, so for me, it's like, cool, I let you take advantage of me once and then I shoot you in the face. And that to me is kind of how I would like us to take that to take that structure. So yes, if some company tries to, let's say in 2 years, Captain Nico has come up with this awesome thing and the OPA's funded it, and some rat bastard somewhere starts trying to copy the design. You can bet your ass that the OPA will hire some really good lawyers to go after that person and say, yo, you're free riding. You're not paying back into the system. You created a derivation on something that is very clearly developed by the OPA Alliance, and you will either pay your licensing fee, which is an annual membership, or you will fund that back into the system. Like, if you can't pay, then you've got to give back into the system.
I dig that,
That's the
right?
only way to make this
I mean, that's
support with sweat.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's what's happening right now. The open source smartwatch project that Paul, I have a bunch of them because they were on AliExpress. TTGo made a derivative. This was originally GPL v3 licensed, and TTGo made a derivative of it and clearly states that that's a derivative of it on all their tweets and all their advertising material. They haven't released the board, the schematics, the code, and it's just a fork and breaking stuff.
Well, Naomi Wu just walked into a 3D printing company. I don't know if you saw that on her Twitter. She's going to release a full video of it. An individual called out this company, and they said, if you want the open source code for it, you have to come to our office in China. That guy wasn't in China. Naomi Wu decided to go to their office and demand it. And she posted a teaser. Yep, they're shitting their pants. It's hilarious. I am so looking forward to that video from her. Yeah. Because she's kind of the open source police for all the right reasons, you know, and because she can speak native language, she lives in mainland China, so she's able to go and defend the things that we all hold near and dear to ourselves in the 3D printing industry. But
Absolutely.
Brett Sawtooth said, excited for her video. She walked in there like a total boss, absolute power move. And she did. She walked in there and said, I'm looking for this guy. Where is he? Oh, well, he doesn't work here anymore. All right, well, then who do I talk to? I need the source code, and I need it now.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Oh, he left the company years ago. Yeah, it's exactly what their response was. And I love that because that's someone who really cares. And people have opinions about Naomi, you know, one way or the other. Some people like her, some people don't. I believe she's fighting the good fight, and that is all that matters. That is all that matters to me, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens if she wins, because there are too many companies taking advantage of, you know, potentially the Athena board and things like it. And they're not giving back to the community. They're not licensing it properly. They're not giving proper, what's the attribution? They're not giving proper attribution where they need to. And that is a problem. I mean, literally, we called out Lulzbot for doing it. They just doubled down and said, oh, we didn't know. Like, bullshit, you didn't know. It's why I'm never going to get Lulzbot printers to review. And you know what? If being critical about a company for breaking the laws, not laws, but the rules and such that they were founded upon, and that's going to keep me from getting review units, say la vie.
One of the things that we will be able to do is, because the OPA will be founded in the United States, probably out of Delaware when we file the paperwork, because that's just the best state to do it in.
Everyone loves Delaware.
The United States represents 65% of the consumer 3D printing market.
Yep.
And I am not a lawyer, but I have followed patent and trade law for the last decade. If you don't listen to This Week in Law on the Twitch or on the Twit network, I highly recommend it.
I am not a lawyer, but I have a few and know a few more. That's how I like to go with it.
I have no doubt at all that when we have official technology that's been licensed and created and it's all done by the OPA, that when a party, because it will happen, attempts to sell a product in the United States, we will sue in Texas, because that's where this always happens, for a nationwide injunction to bar the import of that good, in the same way that Samsung did with Apple and vice versa. And we're not dealing with Apple and Samsung sized companies here. There are some big players in the 3D printing market, but nobody is actually at that scale yet. So even though we're a startup, I am fairly confident that with the amount of smart, passionate people inside our community, that we would not have too much trouble finding some help, suing some motherfuckers in Texas for a nationwide injunction, saying, hey, they're using our license board design. They're not playing by the rules. They're selling on Amazon.
Yep.
We would like to,
we'd like to get a C&D sent out. But yeah, I mean,
the biggest issue though is is that the companies just will dissolve, and then you can't really do much. And if there's no personal guarantees or whatnot.
And that's okay, because what will happen once you file that injunction, customs takes everything. They
Which
take
is good.
Everything.
That's what you need.
Yeah, and that's what you need. The story I love for this is Yeti versus Walmart. When the Yeti tumblers came out, Yeti made a brand surrounding they are a premium product. Yeti does not make something that is unique in any way, shape, or form. It is a thermos. It is public domain. It has been around since the 1900s. Okay? And what they did is they had a design patent. They patented the shape, the design that they did. Walmart ignored this and produced identical copies under the brand name Ozark Trail. What Yeti did that I thought was brilliant is they waited. They waited almost the maximum amount of time that you can legally wait, because part of a patent is that you also can defend it. If you don't defend your patent, it's null and void. Walmart was relying on the fact they weren't going to get sued. Well, it was a very clear open and shut case. Yeti dropped the hammer on Walmart, and Walmart was stuck with millions of dollars of inventory that they could no longer legally sell. Boats that were coming over every day with containers full of these things that they could not sell. And you see, of course, Ozark Trails sells them again, but it's a different design. That's how they get around the patent. Yeti hit him where it hurt in probably the most business way possible. And like, I look at it and say, that is a company that's got a good lawyer. That's a company that's like, no, we don't go after him yet. Let him do it. Let him come to our door. And, you know, Yeti still sells great because they found the market in going after the influencers, the people that are going to show it be a premium product. And, you know, if we can follow that trend too, why the hell not, right?
Our belief, I mean, our audience, our core user base who engages with us on our Discord have been yelling at us for months that they want an Atlas printer. Atlas, I mean, and this is something that we have worked very hard to do as a brand, is now becoming more known. You know, we are growing, we have a lot to learn, we're not always perfect, but people generally associate our brand now with reliable 3D printing. I have every confidence that so long as we continue to do as we've been doing, that brand strength will continue. And so while there will be imitators and copycats and those who straight up steal, so long as we continue to execute, that is not going to matter. A little bit of lost revenue, sure, but that's always going to happen. We can't get bent out of shape about that. All we can do is make sure that we continue to activate new users, solve problems for people, and grow the market. If you are growing the market, by definition, you are fine. Because even if you're losing some old people to piracy, the pie is getting bigger. So it's okay that, you know, Billy Bob Joe is stealing your shit in Alabama. It doesn't matter, because you've got Jane and Sue and Tom, Dick, and Harry all everywhere else paying you $5. So why care is my big thing. Is like, unless it's actually hurting you, and there are some instances where you can see like the piracy's breaking the system. If you're not in that situation, then, you know, just keep pushing it out. If you look at our resin prices, for what we are charging, we are doing our level best to beat Matt with Elegant. We are making way less profit, I can tell you that. And it'll be the same thing with our machines, because we are passionate about making it easier, because if it is easier to print and it is easier to do all of this, more people will join the market. If more people 3D print, that's good for all of our clients, that's good for us, it's good for everybody. It's just better. That's our goal, is actually just to grow the market by any means necessary. Make more art, make more resin, make more machines, make more of everything. And along the way, as long as we're able to keep the lights on, that's all that matters.
Amen to that. I mean, I think a lot of small businesses kind of start there. They get this purpose, they're driven toward it. As long as you can keep the lights on, ultimately, if you can get to your goal, that is what you care about. And it's the same thing for us. Like, I think I peaked many years ago. I had the Smithsonian called us to do 3D printing. I don't think I will ever get better than that. Snoop Dogg's been a client. Lawrence Fishburne, Anthony Anderson, Ronda Rousey. We've worked with a lot of people, but I think the Smithsonian was my peak, and I peaked like 3 years into the game. And now what we're trying to do is just educate people, get the masses to really adopt this technology and understand what they're getting themselves into. Because I'm tired of going to Reddit, I'm tired of looking on the Discords and seeing people ask the same damn questions. Why doesn't my Ender 3 work? Why doesn't this work? And you go to the comments and it's 15 different answers and none of them are correct.
Yes.
Like, literally, Justin, we had that with your teacher. You sent us the photo, and in Matt's Discord, there were 4 separate answers.
Yeah.
And only one of them was right. It was mine.
Yeah, and... No, actually, you were saying use a different profile, but...
I did. That was the correct answer, but... No,
I used the stock profile again.
I still believe the right answer is to use a better profile, but yes.
The stock profiles are the best profiles, and I'm not... That's... No.
It's fair. No, it's fair. Yeah, and...
Your machines just don't run the stock profiles anymore.
They don't. My machines don't run stock profiles anymore. But yes, I believe that in an open source industry where everybody plays by the rules, open source will rule. But it's similar to if you have one bad apple, it quickly gets nasty. And I think if you guys position yourselves accurately, you've got your Discord is freaking massive. How many people are in this freaking thing?
About 3,600. And again, for us, like a year ago, there were 20. And now we have 3,600. Which
you
is
have 924 online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't
Yeah.
show anymore unless you have certain tools or you join. It doesn't say who's offline.
And so clearly you've created a community here, and clearly there's value to it. I want to see this thing end up to where you can buy your own Area 51 if you want, and just turn it into the Area 51 of Resin.
Well, I mean, I've applied for some rural Nevada grants. We would very much like to start manufacturing resin here in Nevada. Right now our main manufacturer,
I'd buy
3D
from
Resin
you.
Solutions, is out in Chicago, and I would like us to have a facility out in Chicago and a facility out here in Nevada.
I think I know who your manufacturer is.
You probably do. Craig Tinderella. He's a fantastic guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
You are correct, he is.
Yeah, Craig and I have been working together now for a while. I love him to death. We've got the same damn dog. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's one of those things. If someone's got the same kind of dog as me, I feel like I can trust them.
I've got a cat. What does that say about me?
That you're an internet person. I've got a cat. That's good. I don't trust people who don't have cats either. You've got to have some kind of animal.
I have a lot of fish, like an unreasonable amount of fish.
That's a little weird.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have a 75 and an 8-gallon tank. My brother has a 125, a 40, 3, 5 10s, and a bunch of buckets, and a 400 and a 75 outside.
I grow plants. I have like
Yes.
30 spider plants and 2 or 3 indoor trees. I grow begonias and then blueberry bushes.
We have a greenhouse. Girlfriend loves succulents, so they're in there. We grow all the plants for the fish tanks. Yeah. But, my cat comes on the live stream from time to time, and she's in the videos. She even has her own stickers that are branded.
It's cute.
It's pretty adorable. Yeah, and, our cat serves a very functional role in the company.
I would say, and this is just being, I'm going to be intentionally vague, but you should be able to figure it out. One of our pilots has things to do with cats.
One of your pilots has things to do with cats. I'm debating if you mean like airline pilot or something else.
Yeah, I'll leave that one to you to figure out.
Will just
But
has a
I
bunch
love-
of private jets lined up outside of his house.
He does live in a hangar.
Yeah.
He said he's working in a hangar right now, so... Will,
Yeah,
is there something that we need to know
live on
about
the
your
airport.
501c3? Are you the Susan G. Komen Foundation?
No, we are not. We are not. I live on an airport. Yes, we can receive and plan to. It's coincidental that Atlas formed in a house on an airport, but it will be advantageous to us. That's for sure. Because I can receive. I mean, because I have the hangar, I can receive pallets. I can have semi trucks show up at the back, and then the runway can handle commercial airlines. No commercial airlines land here. But if things keep growing at the rate that they are, it might be cost effective for us to have inventory delivered via air directly here.
Now, see, local to me, it's in Lakeland, but we have an Amazon Prime Air hub. Now,
Nice.
are you anywhere near Prime Air? Because, I mean, that would
I
let
am.
you FBA all over the place.
It is. So I'm near 3 because there are 4 in the state of Nevada. I'm near the one in Henderson. I'm 45 minutes north of the one in Vegas. Amazon has several distribution facilities in the state of Nevada. I get all of my stuff very quickly from Amazon. It will be advantageous for us to be shipping via Amazon, MCF, and FBA. The thing with that is that we'll be going, basically, we'll have some stuff exiting Chicago and going straight from Chicago into the Chicago warehouse. Some will get shipped down to Texas and some will get shipped over to me. And then we'll go into the various Amazon facilities that way.
Well, I definitely want to talk business with you guys at some point because I am a firm believer in what you do. And I think everybody here will just confirmed he has a personal plane pilot, maybe. I don't know. I did have a friend that had a private plane, and it was fun to go into private plane places. Yeah, it was fun. That was back when Pokemon Go was a thing. We flew up to an airport, take over the gym. I'm like, this is the most extra thing I've ever done, but I never played. But I'm in for a plane flight. That's true. There's a local airport to me that is available for sale. It's a municipal airport, but it is available for sale. You know, just saying, Will, you could not. I don't know if you want to come to sticky Florida, but you know, it's an option.
No, I am a believer that the West Coast is the best coast, and the East Coast can basically stick to itself. I like the West Coast better.
I mean, that's fair. I haven't spent a lot of time on the West Coast, but based on what Justin pays for gas, I'm gonna stay away from California.
Oh God, yeah. California is fucking retarded. If you wanna live in Europe, in the United States, go to California.
Justin lives in a city that a cardboard box could net you a $300 a night Airbnb.
Yeah, did you see that there was that Reddit post about the $800,000 house that had burned down and then sold? It was a burned out house that sold for like $800,000 in San Francisco.
Oh my gosh,
right.
Brett Packard, you guys are the narcos of resin. This is beautiful. And actually, I agree, West Coast, best coast, because Tampa is on the West Coast of Florida.
I mean, Jerry does have access to a Narcos sub, supposedly. So
I know that, like,
we're gonna get into some real deep trouble here, aren't we?
yeah.
I
Pro
can
stats, buy your own airplanes and pilots, buy your own airport to shave costs on shipping. Curely, that's what you call vertical integration. That is exactly what Amazon did.
Exactly.
It's exactly what Amazon did.
People, and this is something I'm particularly proud of. Most people, they hit some success and they stop. We got a pretty solid lock on the support market, and we didn't stop. We immediately pivoted into making our own content and figuring out how to make our own resin. And as soon as we got the resin, not even all the way baked, but it looked like it was going to work, we started working on a machine. Like, looking for partners to get a machine made. So, like, I tell Josh all the time, it's full spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
We will have up and down, left and right, all of it. Right now, I mean, and this is like just to really to throw you out there, we're working on developing a academic facility down in Mexico right now. We've got 5 people that we've onboarded down in Mexico City. We're teaching them how to do support work, and our goal is to have this academic. Right now, it's basically just some guys in a house, but we want to turn it into an actual academy, the first Atlas Academy in North America. And it'll be tuition free. You'll come there, we'll teach you digital skills, digital engineering skills, how to sculpt and how to support and how to make 3-dimensional objects, whether they be in CAD, in ZBrush, in Maya, whatever it happens to be. And then use those academic facilities as a way to import the resin and offset their tuition costs. So the academic facility will import Atlas resin at basically a little bit more than cost, and then sell it to pay for the tuitions that they don't charge to the people who come to their schools to learn how to do digital work. We will then use that as places to find new employees, whether they be support workers, sculptors, painters, any kind of artisanal creators. And we want to do that everywhere. We're doing it in Mexico first because we've got a team down there. And then I really want to do a NAFTA thing. I want to we've got Nico up in Canada. I have been pushing for a North American Union project for 10 years. So if we can get resin made in the United States, the machines made in Canada, and then some human work down in Mexico, and get all of it to work together, geopolitically, that's just a winner.
Yeah, you know, it's going to take some good politics to make all that occur. And, you know, maybe for the United States to figure out its whole vaccination problem. But Kiriy, I'm getting this name on Kiriy. Kiri? I don't know. Wait, Atlas College for actually learning useful skills? Wait, where do I sign up? Please, I need this.
Yeah,
I agree. Honestly, I would say there are some skills that I wish I did better. Sculpting is one of them. I wish I could sculpt better. I'm traditionally not a great designer. It's why I have people like Justin. but is what it is.
It's a big part of our goal with the Discord. Is we want and it's already happening in our 3D sculpting Discord. We have a 3D sculpting channel within our Discord. We met a guy named Danny McGrath who was just transitioning out of the gaming industry and decided he wanted to do 3D digital sculpting. And now we're making his minis, and he's working with us to do a whole new line. He started his line. It's called Hephaestus Miniatures. I have this vision that in 2 to 3 years, we'll have thousands of people who produce one model a month. Now, all of these studios are trying to get people to make 10 models, 20 models a month, one person doing a whole bunch of work to make it work. And that's the only way they can make their studios work. I envision a world where if you are a hobbyist and you want to create something, you don't need to worry about having a platform. Atlas will be there for you. We'll have this awesome little thing. We'll teach you how to make models, and you can throw your model up in the catalog. And if people choose it, you'll get Atlas coins that you can redeem with us, and we'll give you cash. And it's just a nice, easy loop that you don't have to. If you want to do it a whole lot, we're there for you. If you just want to offset your hobby income, we're there for you. And in that kind of world, nobody is going to be able to compete. If we really had 5,000 people all over the world who were making one model a month, like right now, there's no employment structure that could actually make that work. But with crypto,
there really isn't.
We could.
Yeah.
Because the overhead cost is just the cost of writing the contract. But once the contract is written, it's self-perpetuating. You just allow people to engage in that contract, and then ad infinitum, they get tracked by the contract. There's no HR cost. There's no bureaucracy cost for keeping up with who's done what. It's all part of the chain. And in that way, we could create the world's first and largest distributed art creation community. And if everybody is getting paid in these coins that they can hold that will then generate more coins, they're making themselves richer. It's not them enriching Atlas. When you make something creative within this network, you're actually making all of the stuff you've already done more valuable because you're increasing the value of the network. And since everybody should be owning parts of that network through owning Atlas coins, as Atlas gets more valuable, you get more valuable, regardless of when you join the alliance. I mean, and that's no bullshit. That is the goal.
No, it's
that's
true.
Why it's open source.
It's true. Minioclip says, honestly, if you join the Discord and talk to them, they will teach you. And you know what? I have absolutely full faith in that I could get taught. Do I, however, have the time, patience to do any of that?
Probably not.
I don't know.
That's why we have jobs.
Yeah, it's why I pay sculptors like $100+ an hour to do what they do, because they're very good at what they do. I will say, because I know there's a lot of people from Atlas on here, 3D Musketeers is currently hiring, so if you are looking to get a job, it is 1099 independent contractor work. I don't give a damn where you're located. Literally, Justin lives in California, never met the guy in person, works with us, I should say, because honestly, I'm the only one that works for the company. The rest of you work with it. But please, there's an email in the video description. Reach out to me there, or just tag me in the Atlas Discord, since you guys have all seen me on there. So, because we are looking for people. We need people in marketing. We need sales. If you can do great sales, please hit me up. But we're looking for engineers, CAD guys and gals that want to help us out as well. So,
interestingly, hard surface modeling, mostly females so far. It's really fascinating. Like,
interesting.
Ethereum
That's not typical for us, but yeah.
I know, right? The two, like, in my opinion, the two best hard surface modelers for Warhammer 40K right now are girls.
What about Eric Wilkinson?
Who?
Eric Wilkinson?
He does great. It's just personal preference.
Oh, okay.
I happen to love Ethereum and I love Piper. And they're both hard surface modelers. And it's just something that I normally associate with men. And yet, Ethereum's making amazing Warhammer 40K tanks.
I need to get back into Warhammer.
Oh, God, I love it.
But I don't want to, because I don't need another expensive-ass hobby.
Yeah, but with 3D printing, it's not that bad.
I have 32 printers now, I think. Something like that.
Oh, you can make a whole army in a day.
Yeah,
You
if I
put
want to
1,000
shut down the
points.
company for a day.
Why not?
I mean, you can make it happen.
Yeah, then Justin's like, ooh, then we would have lots of time-lapse prints that I wouldn't have to do research for.
We just need a lot more cameras, that would mean.
Yeah, I would love to do more time. I love the Octolapse time-lapsing with Octoprint. And I can only imagine that Resin Lapse is going to look just as sexy. The one thing I don't like is that you can't get all the reflections from the damn case, so you basically have to print with the case off.
Yeah.
Which
see, that doesn't bother me because
or cut a hole in the case and stick the like make it so the lens fits perfectly in the case.
Yeah, I mean, I could do that.
And make like a little gasket even, so you don't even have to deal with the smell if you don't want to.
We have VOC filters at this point because my office, for those that don't know, is 170 square feet. All printers are not in here. Some are actually on our set in my garage. I have a standing set in the garage. But some of them are out there, but most of them are in here. Like behind me, there are 6 total printers. But the shelf over there is supposed to have printers on it. The one above it's supposed to have printers on it. They're all on set in some state of disarray or still in boxes. We just buy printers when we can, when the price is right, and we try to grow. But yeah, I mean, Will, this has been awesome, dude. We got to have you guys on more often as you go through big milestones in the development so we can kind of talk about it.
Yeah,
I think the next time we got to have Captain Nico on. And I think if we have Captain Nico, Justin, we have to bring on Alan.
Yes.
Our resident circuiteer, as he likes to call himself. He's our electrical engineer in residence. And I think if you and I just muted ourselves, Will, and just let the two of them talk, we could go have lunch. I could probably get on a plane and come see you by the time they're done talking.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
yeah, engineer types, put them in the same room and they just go nuts with each other. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, this is. I've really enjoyed this. It's been a ton of fun. Is there anything that you want to shout out before we end this bad girl?
If you believe in the ideas of what we're talking about, please come and back the OPA. The more people that we can get to back, the more likely this is to succeed. That the easier it is to make it happen. We are 100% committed to spending as much money as we have to make this happen. But we are a startup. We are by no means Facebook, at least not yet, in terms of our actual cash flow on hand. So anything and everything that the audience can do to help is absolutely going to make a difference. Every dollar that comes in goes right out the door to development, either to Concepts 3D or to Mango.
I thought it went to filling the airplanes and the narco subs.
Oh God, no! See, that's the thing is that you gotta understand. I was on the border of Mexico for a decade. I have other ways of solving that problem. I don't need to get money for that. That's not a problem at all. No, I've got people on the other side of the line for that.
I'm just screwing with you, but yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun. I do want to do a main channel video as well on this, so you and I will have to put together a list of questions and answers. Do a 15-minute interview and use that as a main channel video because we don't get a ton of views on the podcast. Although this one is, I think, our most viewed podcast. No, it's not. The one we did last week on the 3D stocks was definitely much.
We got those after the fact though. We didn't have that many people hanging out there.
We have never had 16 people on a live stream, and we're a small YouTube channel, but we are growing. I want to be able to cover as much as I can of your guys' development, and as soon as we can get our hands on beta units, I will beat the shit out of them, and I'll even leave them in my garage, which is very hot, very damp, very Florida, so we can really test it and see how it goes. But I want to,
we'll be looking for beta testers, so I'd be happy to make sure we send you some units because we're gonna need that.
We are actively beta testing for Tiny Belt.
Beautiful. Okay.
Little belt.
And that is something that we're gonna need.
Belt 3D printing. But yeah, dude, I am excited for this. It's magical happenstance of how we crossed paths, and I'm glad that we did because I believe that you guys have so much going on and we want to help tell your story. And if nothing else, 3D Musketeers, we are professional storytellers. We do product development, so we help tell people stories. And that's what I love to do.
Absolutely, man.
That's why I do what I do.
Absolutely.
But yeah, guys, if you are still watching, make sure you go check out everything on Atlas 3D. I'll have links to all their stuff in the description of this video once it goes 100% live. We'll put a link to your guys' Discord in there too. So if you want to go hang out on their Discord, you will see me there every now and then, helping out where I can when I have the time.
I'll probably hang out way too much. I'd spend way too much time in there, but
yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah, and Justin will be there too, and I'm sure some of our other staff will come and hang out. I am so excited for what you guys are doing. You are solving some of the big problems in this industry right now. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, let's keep making cool stuff.
Right. And last but not least, thank you, Concepts 3D and PK Electronics. You guys being willing to trust and partner with us, like none of this would be happening without the insane amount of work that they've done over the last 6 years, entirely unpaid. These guys have done so much development work just on the hope and the passion alone that they'd be able to get it out to market. So
that's what
please
Bootstrap
help
is all
us
about.
help them. Yeah.
That's what it is all about. Well, awesome. Have you watched any of our videos? Do you know my outro?
I don't.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'll do it. So if the guests know it, I like to let the guests do it because it's more fun that way. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. And as always, keep making awesome. Have a freaking good one. Thanks for hanging out on this crazy stream that went down 3 freaking times. See ya.
Later.